Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the Procedurally Generated show, the show about the random history of video games. My name is Chris Weber and I'm here with John Carson.
Hello.
How are you, John?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
I'm doing well, man. I'm looking forward to this show.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I found some cool stuff and I'm eager to pass it off as my own knowledge.
Good.
Awesome.
Excellent.
But before we do that, where's my stuff? There we go.
Yeah.
We've had some stuff come up this week that we wanted to talk about. Before we get into the games,
Sure.
You sent a picture to me. Let me think. It was Wednesday or Thursday, shortly after we recorded.
Uh-huh.
And the timing of this picture could not have been better. It's one of the strangest universal, like, cosmic coincidences I think I've ever come across. Can you explain the picture that you sent and where you got it from?
Yeah, so I sent a picture of this large, like, tall giant character who is standing outside of a coliseum, who has a giant mouth on his stomach with, like, a tongue hanging out. I'm like, wow, that guy looks a lot like Mondu from Tongue of the Fat Man, which we had just gotten done talking about the day before. I think it was Wednesday because the podcast wasn't available for everyone yet, but I'm like, I'll post it. I'll call up Mondu. And then we started talking about this. To clarify, this was in World of Warcraft in Shadowlands. And we started talking about like whether that was like the character's not named Mondu. It is not his fight palace that he's out in front of. But he is a large dude who looks like Mondu, like with the same characteristics of having like a giant mouth in his stomach. But World of Warcraft is a game by Blizzard Entertainment, who is owned by Activision Blizzard. Activision was the publisher of Tongue of the Fat Man, and I believe some other versions of it, Mondu's Fight Palace. So we are canonically calling this dude Mondu.
Yeah, when you sent it to me, you sent me the picture and you said something into there. I was trying to find in the Discord quick. I can't remember which channel it was sent in, but
I think it might have been on Twitter, but
was it? Yeah, it was on Twitter.
Yeah.
Okay, that would explain why I couldn't find it on Discord. But yeah, you had said like, this guy kind of looks like Mondu, and I was like, oh, weird coincidence or something like that. And then you responded with, yeah, he fights in a coliseum with like alien races or something.
Yep.
It was so in line with what we had just talked about.
Yeah.
Right?
So I guess background for the Coliseum, there's a zone in Shadowlands called Maldraxxus. Maldraxxus is a zone of, it's a lot of undead and like necromancy. But the people of Maldraxxus are warriors. They are the military of the afterlife. So they have competitions in their Coliseum in the center of the zone to see who's the strongest. The Shadowlands are the afterlife, not just for the World of Warcraft world of Azeroth, but like the entire universe, which we're kind of learning like what else is out there. This expansion is kind of the gateway to the rest of the cosmology of World of Warcraft.
Interesting.
So we don't really know yet what's all out there, but I just thought it was really interesting that this place where all these races come together to battle for supremacy, to see who's the best, and one of the dudes just is a dead ringer for Mondu.
Yeah, that's I think we're gonna call it here first. We're gonna be the first people in the world to identify. I'm saying we, like the royal we. I had nothing to do with this. That identified that Mondu, the old fighting game, sexiest unsexy character, is officially in World of Warcraft Shadowlands.
He is in World of Warcraft. I'm gonna call up the director Ian Hesychostas and see if he could change the name. Make it canonical.
Yeah, just do it. But like,
That'd be great.
We're on to you. All right, you're not fooling anybody. But no, I thought that was really fun, given the fact that we had just talked about it. I'd never even heard of the game prior to that show, and again, it very much may not be him, just a coincidental thing, but it is.
Yeah. it is now.
Yeah, and then so I'm also here to give you my weekly update on my PlayStation 5 adventures.
Yes.
I still
What's going
don't
on
have
with
one.
that?
I still don't have one. I
tried for you.
Well, and I appreciate that. You're not actually the only person that's trying. I've gotten people saying that, hey, I had Gaiden, one of the people from the Twitch community that I'm in. He was waiting in a line, or waiting in queue, not in line. But myself and Timmy, we were working together at it. He made it to 11 minutes in queue. I made it to 12 before it said out of stock. But I had an interesting conversation. I all of this, online purchasing, everything that's, the only way you can get it now. I never thought that, maybe I should just call some of the stores around here and see what they have. We live in a small area, it's maybe it slipped through the cracks. We'll see. Maybe there's one sitting somewhere and I'm not even on it. So I call Walmart, sat on hold for 10 minutes only for nobody to answer. I was like, cool.
Sounds right.
Let's try Target. So I called Target. They answer right away. This is why I shop at Target and not Walmart. There's other reasons, but
sure.
I talked to electronics and I ask him in a way that's like, listen, I know what your answer is going to be, but we're going to do it anyway. Do you have any PlayStations in stock? And I'm like ready to hang up on the phone. He goes, actually, we have 2. And my heart started beating. I was like, man, this is it. This is it. We're getting a PlayStation 5. I was like, great. Can you hold it? I'll leave right now. And he's like, but you can't buy it in the store.
Like, yeah, that's right. Yep.
Like, okay. So I can order it online and I can come pick it up then, right? That's how that works. He's like, yes, but okay.
It's too many buts.
Yeah. If you go on the website, the inventory hasn't been updated. Okay. All right. So, okay. Do you know when it's going to be updated? I have no idea. Okay.
Yeah, that's very much outside the control of people in stores, sadly.
And then it was just like, okay. He's like, check for the next 24 hours or so. But the moral of the story was that they had 2 PlayStation 5s sitting in stock that nobody could buy. Literally impossible to buy.
Yeah.
And
I think that's a directive, I think, from Sony and Microsoft.
Yeah.
Because like I don't think anybody's doing purchasing in store for either of the consoles currently. So
yeah, it I went from such a high to such a low.
So no luck. You kept on checking and it never updated.
Yeah, I've been checking every day since. I was gonna call again today and see if they were still there. But I've been checking and
get them on the line right now. We're calling them up. Welcome to our Target hour.
Do you know how to patch in a phone call to Zencaster here?
Sure. We're cutting out 3 games from the list this week, just so we could call Target.
Just so we can harass an electronics employee at Target.
Hell yeah! I used to be one, so it's fine.
Okay. But yeah, no, that was a bummer. So I'll keep checking that. But I guess this Target doesn't even sell the digital edition, so it would be the full version, which I wasn't going to buy. But at this point, I don't care.
Yeah, take what you can get.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Huh. Well, good luck.
Thank you. Yeah.
I will say that I have been trying for you. I think it was was it the day of Thanksgiving or the day before? My friend Phil hit me up and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing tonight? Can you help me try to get a PlayStation for my friend?" I'm like, which one? Luckily it was the disc version. So I'm like, cool. Now I know at the time that I can look for both of them and just have a window up for each on Walmart. And I had one of the disc versions in my cart again. and it was having me do like store pickup, and it said that the store that I was picking it up from had 3 in stock, and then I went to actually complete my order, and it told me that it was out of stock.
I thought it was going to say like, yeah, the store you selected is in Louisiana.
No, it was Brooklyn Park. So
okay. That's good.
Yeah, they were all local. Didn't want to make that mistake, but yeah, getting those is still not necessarily a nightmare, but it could be a lot better.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and
there's some improvements that need to be made.
I might even call it a night terror.
You just wake up
just
in a cold sweat in the middle of the night. Kate's worried about you. Jack's worried about you.
PlayStation.
What's wrong, Daddy?
PlayStation 5.
Demon Souls. Gotta play the Demon Souls.
No. That being said, though, I am not going completely without in terms of a PlayStation 5 experience, because I did buy a PlayStation 5 controller.
Oh, yeah.
And have successfully synced it up to Steam. So I've been playing some games this week. Well, a game this week because I just got it working, because that didn't work right away either. So I've gotten to at least experience the controller for the most part. No, there's no adaptive, or not adaptive. What's the trigger technology called? Is it adaptive? Haptic.
It is adaptive triggers.
Adaptive triggers? Yeah, okay.
The rumble is haptic.
Okay, so there's that. And I don't think the gyrometer, which I think we've messed up this word almost every week. Gyrometer, the gyro, the flippy doodle thing,
the motion controls, the 6-axis.
Yeah, that doesn't work either. But I mean, the rumble feels fine. The controller feels great in my hands. I'll talk about what I was playing here in a little bit, but so I'm at least getting some of the PlayStation 5 experience just on my PC without a PlayStation 5.
I have sacrificed my PS5 to my wife. She's now using it. I wanted her to play Astrobot, so.
Oh yeah, that's one I'm looking forward to getting into at some point.
She is into during our break, I might have an update on PS5s for you. So.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's what I like to hear. You can tell me now.
Edina might have it.
Okay. All right. Cool. Should we take our 45 to 6 hour break now, and I'll just go check?
Let me check right now. We're gonna do this live.
Oh God.
PlayStation 5. How do you spell PlayStation again?
PS.
ATAR.
Yes, there's definitely R's. Multiple R's. PlayStation.
PlayStation.
While you're doing that,
yes,
I'll lead us into our final
please
kind of intro topic. You and I, we both experienced a first today. I've heard of these events happening, and I've missed it every time. But we got to witness our first Fortnite event.
We did.
The Galactus event, is that what it's called?
Yeah, something like that. It was. I just saw it was a Marvel thing, and it was like possibly the end of chapter 4.
Yeah, because now there's a timer up that chapter 5 goes live at midnight Central.
At midnight
or Eastern.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was kind of cool. I mean, it's the first live event that I've seen.
I've watched them in the past, and they always looked fun to be in. Like you always hear about like concerts that are happening in Fortnite, and some of that doesn't always interest me because I don't know who the artists are, and I don't have Fortnite installed. But I saw one of the Epic employees talking on Twitter today. He's like, "Hey, by the way, you should get in now. This thing starts in like an hour. Now's the time to get in because there are a limited amount of spots." I'm like, well, sitting at my computer, I'm researching stuff for tonight. Might as well download Fortnite and try to get into one of these things.
There you go.
So I also wanted to see like what the process was and what the what gameplay was like during that, because I had heard like during an earlier event someone had gotten like a kill record because so many people were watching the sky or whatever, and they were all on like some stairs that were built, and someone knocked down all the stairs below them and killed like 50 people at once.
That's awesome.
Which is just brilliant. But that wasn't something you could do this time. You were just on the shield helicarrier.
Yeah.
And waiting for a countdown to happen while Galactus's head was just like in the ocean off in the distance for like an hour.
Could you tell that that's what that was prior? I was watching 2 streams of it. I was watching Kodalash, one of the cryophilic streamers, and I was actually watching Dr. Lupo's stream.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And flipping back and forth. And I didn't get to see what Dr. Lupo said, but Koda had no idea that that's what that was until it started moving.
Oh, yeah. No, I knew that was Galactus from the start. Yeah.
Well, aren't you a cool guy?
So I talked to Koda afterwards. I hopped in his stream because you mentioned that you were watching it there, and I'm like there was some like after the event stuff. Like there's some blonde dude on the floor. I'm like, I have no idea who that is. It's a Fortnite dude.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went in there and asked him, and because he's more familiar with the Fortnite lore than I am. I'm like, I was just here for the Marvel stuff. I'm like, he's like, oh, did you read like all the comics and stuff in the game? I'm like, no, I just understand that if Galactus is there, he's going to try to eat something like the entire world, and then hero stuff is going to happen. And that's all you need to know. Like and that's basically all that happened during that event was Galactus shows up. He wants to eat like the center of the map. I don't know what the relevance is of they called it like the 0 point or something.
Yeah, you pulled it from, I guess Koda called out that there was like a ruin area in the map.
Okay.
So I don't know what it, I mean, unfortunately, like my Fortnite lore is lacking. My Marvel lore is lacking. I've not seen all those movies yet. So it was maybe not the best event for me to jump into, but still cool to
Star Wars.
Cool to be a part of it.
It's fine.
Yeah.
So Galactus shows up. He pulls this thing out of those ruins, and Iron Man's just joking with you the whole time, like, we should probably stop him before he eats that thing. Otherwise, like bad things are gonna happen. And all of a sudden, like I think you just like start flying off into space, right? And then everything goes dark, and you wake up on a battle bus.
Well, it was like an alternate dimension or something that they got pulled into.
Right. And Iron Man's like, yeah, I made a bunch of time loops and made like 1 billion of these battle buses with bombs strapped to them. And we're going to make Galactus eat all of these. And then he's like, you're going to control the bus. We need to get to his mouth. And so you're flying the battle bus in like a on-rails shooter. And you're shooting all these like drones in a kind of like a Star Wars Episode 4 bombing run. Like you're in the trenches on Galactus's arm, trying to get up to his face while AC/DC is just blaring in your face.
Yeah, Fortnite did not do a lot of favors for any Twitch streamers out there.
No. Which I was wondering if it was like fake AC/DC.
Nope.
But I can't really tell these days what's real or fake AC/DC.
Koda posted in the Discord the actual song afterwards.
Okay.
And he's like, I found the song in Fortnite. I'm like, oh god, jeez.
Yeah. So yeah, you blow up Galactus, and then like everything goes black.
And you get disconnected.
To be continued.
You get disconnected from the server.
Yep, it says to be continued in season 5, which will be tonight. So when people listen to this, you'll find out what season 5 is, whether that's a new map or if they just change things in the current map. I have no idea. I don't know how Fortnite works. I seems fun.
Like many people, the reason I don't play Fortnite is because I can't stand the building. I think that the gunplay was always fine. Again, third person doesn't super do it for me, but you know, I got into it for a little bit. But once people got really good at the building, I was out. But it kills me that I don't. That's the reason, because I think I could actually really get into Fortnite. I love battle royales, but man, that's the turnoff. It's so cool to see this kind of stuff happen in a game like that. I'd love to see it happen in other games, but I understand why it can't. You know, when the people that are in charge of the game are also the ones that literally built the engine upon which it sits. You know, they're going to have the ability to do this easier than any other studio could. And it shows. So,
I just wish you could build like, I haven't played that much Fortnite. I've messed around in like 50v50. I've never
Okay.
really like solos or teams or anything. Because I don't get like I understand the reason for building, but I just don't find it interesting like at all. Like if you could build other things besides like walls and ceilings and windows and stairs, can you? Do you know if you can, Chris?
I mean, you can. Yeah, I don't know. I again, I have no idea.
I like the idea of being able to build your way out of situations, but I just wish that there were more things to build. Like, oh, I can craft a weapon. That would be rad. Or this is like a some sort of like slingshot, like different things than just like walls or ramps.
Yeah,
But that's me. I don't know. Also, I'm not too hot on BRs to begin with. I like them enough, but I never really get super into them.
yeah. I think that's why I got into Apex so much more than Fortnite. It was basically Fortnite, first person, but it didn't have that building aspect. But
yeah.
Well, what can you do? Cool event.
Right.
Glad that I got to see one live. Maybe next time I'll log in and see
I'm
it,
looking forward to checking out whatever season 5 is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But yeah, let's talk about what have you been playing this week?
Oh, it's been all World of Warcraft.
That's it. Just
it's been Shadowlands
and a sprinkling of Final Fantasy 14.
And that was a long night of Final Fantasy. Exquisite and I were up real late that night.
Shit, I ain't ever gonna catch up with you guys.
No. So I realized that I was really close to getting my class or job. I don't know. Whatever like my next form of my class was.
Okay.
So I was moving from Marauder to Warrior.
Okay.
And so I had to finish like story quests and then do my class quests and get to a point where I finally unlocked the Warrior stuff. So like I was up until like 1:30 doing that.
Whoa.
Or something. Yeah. It was late. I know you bailed at like 9:30 or 10.
Yeah, it was like 9:30. So
yeah.
I have you know what, whether you guys want to do it or not, I'm doing 2 nights of Final Fantasy
14. No, that's fine. We've talked about it.
Yeah.
Don't know if it's going to happen yet, especially with
I need to do
all the Shadowlands stuff I need to do. So I guess back to the main event, back to the main game.
How dare you?
At Shadowlands, I hit level 60. I hit the level cap. I've played through all of the main story. It's really good. They weave you through those zones super well, and they start you off in like this really pristine, angelic afterlife looking place called Bastion, where all of the like the main race that's there, the Kyrians, are all about like serving people and bringing souls to where they need to go. And then bad things are happening there. Some people are turning against the ways. They find that the ways are broken, and they've kind of sided with the bad guys. And then people from Maldraxxus, which we talked about before, like the military wing of the Afterlife, is also invading Bastion. So they're kind of in some hot water there. When you go to Maldraxxus, there's like 5 different houses of the military, where like 2 of them are gone now, like pretty recently. And so there's like a power vacuum, and people are trying to figure out like who to trust. And it's very there's a lot of politics happening. There's a lot of infighting and intrigue, and like that whole zone is maybe my favorite out of all of them. Just a lot of cool stuff happening there.
Nice. Okay.
And then there's Ardenweald, which is like all the nature afterlife stuff. So a lot of the souls that go there go to be reincarnated or just like return to their worlds after like resting for a while. But there's a drought in like souls or anima which is what fuels those souls to come back. So a bunch of like the groves there are withering, and people are choosing which souls to like keep and get rid of. So these eternal beings are actually dying.
Would you call any of this not somebody who's familiar with World of Warcraft, but would you call any of this spoilery?
Not really.
Okay.
They released like 4 videos before the expansion release, and it's like very top level. Like, these are the zones. This is like kind of what's happening here.
Okay.
The 4th zone is Revendreth. It's all like vampiric people. Their whole goal is to take souls that are nearly irredeemable and like pull their pride and their ego and their like maliciousness out of them to try to save them. So they're not just like a total waste in the afterlife. If those souls don't like repent, then they get tossed into the maw, and the maw's like the like uber hell of the afterlife. That's where like the worst souls go, and that's where like the bad guy of the expansion lives. His name's the Jailer, and he's just trying to collect a bunch of souls to get out of the maw. The maw is like inescapable.
It's a good name for something that's inescapable. That's a solid pull.
Your character is the first thing to actually make it out of the maw, so people are kind of like in wonder of like, how the hell is he doing that, or she? We need you to run missions in there to get more people out who shouldn't be in there. And that's where like a lot of the end game stuff is. There's a place in there called Torghast, the Tower of the Damned, and that's a whole roguelike area. It's a dub car.
I wasn't going to say anything.
and that's where I've been spending my last couple of nights. Just because it's like you go in, you could do a group, but I've been going solo. But there's like at least 6 different areas to that place. And you start off like fresh, like with your base character. Everything that you brought in is fine. But as you go, you gain powers to augment or magnify your own character's powers. So I'm a mage, and they have things like, if you polymorph enemies into a sheep, they over time they will build up energy, so that when the polymorph wears off, they explode and do damage to everything around them. So you're just like turning enemies into time bombs and just waiting for a while and making them explode. Super fun, super powerful. Or if like you use your blink spell, it'll create a mirror image of yourself to attack other enemies. There's a lot of just really fun ways that they play with classes in there. And I've been having a really, really great time with it.
It sounds like it, because I have been playing WoW, and then 5 minutes later, I mean, that's
I can talk about WoW forever right now.
See, we have gotten in the weeds. Holy smokes! Well, I did promise that I would play WoW as soon as I 100% Final Fantasy 14. So now I'm prepared when that day comes.
You'll get there in 23 years. I'm sure.
No problem. But well, there's your WoW portion of the podcast.
Where am I? I just woke up. What happened?
And that's it. So that and Final Fantasy 14. Anything else?
No, those are the games.
Right.
Other than I played one of the games from this week.
Okay. All right. We'll obviously touch on that when we get there.
Yes.
I also played one of the games this week. But we'll save that for later. But I did finally finish my first run of Hades.
Oh, good. When did that happen?
It happened. Must have been Saturday. What is today? Tuesday? Yeah, Saturday. Yeah, I think it was Saturday.
What weapon did you use?
I finished my first run with the spear.
Okay. All right.
And it was great. I got to see it, but I understand. So you don't beat the game when you finish your first run. There's more to unlock. There's a lot more to unlock. So I have promised myself that when I stream going forward, I'm going to do 2 runs of Hades and then move on to whatever game I'm going to play next. So yesterday I beat it 2 more times. So I'm up to 3 completions with 3 different weapons. And I've got 6 more to go before I think I see the final bit of the game. So that's going to continue to be my plan. I'll be doing 2 runs of Hades. If all works out and I just beat it every time, I could have that game done in 3 more days. But we'll see.
Sounds great. Yeah.
But still, that game is something. I also loaded up Microsoft Flight Simulator for the first time and found my house.
Oh, good.
That was fun. Excellent. I was going to text my buddies and get all their addresses and then send them pictures of their homes, but I haven't gotten around to it yet.
Did you crash into your house?
Yeah, because I can't figure out how to do the free camera.
I don't know how to land.
Yeah. Well, that too.
So they never taught me.
Yeah, you can land on a runway. Try landing on my neighborhood street. It doesn't work. So yeah, that was one thing that I tried. We did a little Super Mario Odyssey, and that was fun to get back to. I haven't played that.
I heard that was very controversial.
It was, yes. I've
I heard it's not Galaxy.
Dragon in my chat has been asking me incessantly to play Galaxy, and I listen. I live my life by a random spreadsheet. I can't make these decisions. It's out of my hands.
Wait, was Odyssey random?
It was, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It came up randomly after I beat Hades, and I was like, well, you know what? I don't want to commit to beating the entire game, but I do want to play it. It's been a long time.
Yeah, Odyssey's great.
Yeah, I played it for a couple hours, and that was about it. Another game that came up was one that I wanted to play a while ago, but that was when my Game Pass stopped working, was Lonely Mountains Downhill. The mountain biking game. That game is super chill. Just it's a good thing to just kick back and throw a podcast on, preferably this podcast, and just kind of lose yourself in like although the sound is really good. It's just, you feel like you're at peace on a mountain. You're, potentially crashing down a mountain, falling to your death, but
yeah, that's peaceful.
Yeah.
Why not?
So those 2 were kind of quick snippets. And then I started Dirt 5.
Sure did.
Which I'm having a good time with, except I lost all my, I got my PlayStation 5 controller and I couldn't get its link to Steam. So I uninstalled Steam thinking maybe it was an issue on that end. It wasn't. But when I reinstalled Steam, all my save data was gone. So I'm playing through Dirt 5 to get back to where I was on stream, which it should be another hour or so. And then I'll be continuing to stream that. And then obviously, like we said, we're still playing some Final Fantasy 14, which I'm falling behind on, which means I have to commit to 2 nights a week instead of 1.
Yeah. I mean, I'm level 34, 35, I think. So
okay,
let's get up to that level.
Yeah, I guess you're not that far ahead of it. I'm at 28.
No, it's we took care of some dungeons. We did the first primal fight.
Okay. Interesting.
And then I went and got my new class. I don't think anybody else has. So
gotcha. Well, that's what I've got. That's kind of what I've been up to.
Excellent.
But we have a historic occasion to celebrate here in episode 5. We have our first community interaction.
Yeah, it's more of this
in terms of the podcast. And I'm cheating a little bit because it was a question that was brought to my Twitch. I answered it, and then I was like, well, wait. Other people might have the same question. So
right. No, that works. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. This question comes from Timmy. He's a regular in my chat, very supportive of the community and the podcast. Sure. He asked, now that we've implemented Discord, how many episodes will we have active at any given time? And
that is a good question.
It is a good question. I think we're at our number right now. When this show goes live, we'll get stuff up on Friday. I think, and we can discuss this more, John, but I think 5 is the magic number.
I wouldn't want to go more.
Yeah. And 5 might even prove to be too much, because I think what we're going to do is we're going to keep the last 5 for now. The last 5 episodes near the top of the Discord. The ones that are no longer active are going to slide to the bottom of the Discord, just so that they're there for any new listeners that want to go back and listen to the old stuff.
Sure.
but it's important to note that the Discord is a temporary measure right now. We'll continue to use it and utilize it going forward, maybe in the same capacity, but we do want to set up a blog once we hit that Patreon goal, and I think that's going to be a much more fleshed out experience.
It does take up a similar space, but it's information that we wanted to get out to people, no matter what, one way or another. But I think the blog will be more organized once we do it that way. But and have probably even more information and more of our thoughts.
Yeah, I'd like to. We've started reaching out to developers. I haven't had any interaction back yet. The most we've gotten is some likes on some tweets, which is still great. Okay, we're still we're very much in the baby stage here. So trying to plant seeds, get in front of people. But it would be great to have a place to continue to post things that might come through further down the road. Something we're on episode 12 and somebody reaches out from episode 2. It'd be great to have a spot where we can kind of make those updates and things. So
absolutely.
But I have gotten some positive feedback on the Discord. So if you're not in the Discord, check the link below. Go ahead, join up. I've had some positive feedback saying that it really makes the episode, it's more substantial. It makes it feel more like it's less about us talking at you and more about you experiencing these things at the same time. So I would love to keep that going. So
sure.
Along the note, along those lines of interaction, please, if you're enjoying the show, leave us a 5-star review. Or any sort of positive review on whatever platform you're listening on. I did check yesterday, and I think we have 9 5-star reviews.
Oh, great.
Which is fantastic.
Get it to 10.
Yeah, we have 1 written review, which was really well done.
Awesome.
So it was fun to see. For a while there, for 4 weeks early, we actually I've been using a program called Pod Charts, and we were actually ranking. We were in the top 200 for video games, which is a big deal. We haven't been there since. Awesome. But it'd be great to get back on there. So we want to find new listeners.
We are knocking on 200 listens total so far.
Yeah,
which is awesome. That's like way more than I thought in the first few weeks.
Yeah.
So
it's been a fun trip, and we say it every week. We have plans for this, but you guys that have been listening, thank you. It's a lot easier to want to do something like this. I mean, trust me, my excitement for doing this has not dwindled, and it wouldn't probably anyways, but it's a lot easier knowing that there's people that are genuinely enjoying the show.
Yeah.
So thank you for those of you that have left us reviews. Thank you for those that have shared kind words. Definitely appreciate it. If you haven't had a chance yet, please leave a review. All right. What do you think? Ready to get into the meat of it?
I think so.
All right. Well, you're going to have to wait a second because we have to explain how people can reach us.
Fine. All right. Cool.
No. If you guys want to reach out to us, we have our Patreon, patreon.com/procedurally generated. We would love to hit that $100 goal. We're about $22 off. Once we do that, we'll start getting the show up on YouTube, which is very exciting. Our Twitter is PG_show. Our email is pgshowinbox@gmail.com. And then, like I said, we have the Discord. We are also Twitch streamers. Reach out in our Twitch chats. If you have questions or thoughts or concerns or anything like that, we'll go over what our Twitch channels are. Well, I can do it now. CW719 for me. And John, what is yours?
John Carson Games.
There we go. So plenty of ways to get a hold of us. We're eager for your interactions. How about now we get into some games?
Okay. Wait. Yes.
All right.
Yes. We got 5 good ones, to this week.
We do. This is probably the most fun I've had. Some of these games were fun to research.
Yeah.
Some of them, I mean, a little challenging at times, but I think overall I was able to commit a little bit more time to it, and I came back with
I could tell because you were updating the Discord like
Yeah.
on Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm trying
Like,
to
oh, good, Tristan's
schedule
way ahead on this.
Yeah, I'm trying to schedule time throughout the week to make sure that I'm not caught scrambling at the end, because I always feel like if I'm scrambling at the end, there's things I'm missing.
That's me every week, by the way.
You've got a lot going on.
Hey, a lot of World of Warcraft, lots of
That's
that Fortnite thing at the last minute was poor judgment on my part. But
hey, we had something to talk about. Content was made.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
But all right, our first game is a game came out in 1991 called Twilight 2000. This is developed by Paragon Software Corporation, published by MicroProse Software. It is an isometric role-playing strategy game, and it released on DOS. Had you ever heard of this game prior?
No,
I hadn't.
No, I have not. And watching like gameplay of it, I'm like, oh, this looks a lot like XCOM, which it's not. I would yes and no, but
yeah, I had never heard of it, but I did play it on the software library to try to get a grip for it.
I didn't see it on there.
Oh yeah, it is on there.
Great.
It's I mean, it's a 91 DOS game.
Well, I guess a little bit of flavor for this. It's based on a pen and paper RPG.
Yes.
So, Twilight 2000 is a tabletop RPG akin to like a Dungeons and Dragons. That's about a fictional World War III that happens around the turn of the century. So that's why Twilight 2000. There are no shiny vampires, sadly, or angsty teens that I know. Lots of army men.
Yes.
Lots of preparation for your missions.
Yeah, I took a look at one gameplay video just to kind of compare what I had experienced and what they had done. And the first video was an hour and a half long, and they were still working through menus. I was like, oh,
yep.
boy.
I watched a few gameplay videos. I'm like, okay, I see what's happening here. Like, you have like 20 different characters, who all have like their own skills and whatnot. You choose one to be your leader, but you can outfit like everyone with whatever your armory has. So like different guns or grenade launchers or equipment. You could go into like a filing cabinet and look at like files on each character and like what their health is. Like there's like an X-ray of their body, and it'll show like hit points for different parts of their body, and different stats and whatnot. Like, it's very detailed for a game in 91.
Well, and all of those characters too, they you generate them. So they're you can set stats and parameters and things like that, and each character is then procedurally generated using, I don't know if procedurally generated is the right term, but
do they owe us money for?
I think so. Yes, we were definitely around before 1991. Right. So, so yeah, every character that you create, you can randomize.
I know. I was.
Yeah. Well, I was. Yeah, I was.
Oh yeah, we both were. So great.
But you can mess with their abilities, what languages they know, their individual attributes and things like that. So you can kind of customize. There was a weird like school mechanic for a couple that I made. Like, they went to the officer school, and then a year passed, and this time they went to somewhere else. I don't know if that's what was like building their experience, or what. But it was a little vague as to what was happening, but you could tell it was something to do with character creation.
Yeah, it seems dense. And there's like you're in your home base, and you can kind of everything's in like first person. It's like you're sitting at a desk, or you're going through hallways, and you see like different doors that you can click on. And each door has like a million things you can click on in there to like modify something before you actually send people out on a mission.
Yeah, it took me a long time just to figure out how to leave. the
Yeah.
base. And then I was like, okay,
Sounds
cool.
right.
So I finally got out of that first person perspective, which you don't walk around, you just click on things. It's kind of like an adventure game sort of setup when you're
Yeah,
in
it's
there.
like
But
isometric. It's yeah.
yeah,
Or
well,
do you mean in the
in
base?
the base, when you leave
In
the
the base,
base,
yes.
then it turns to the isometric camera and you get to wander around.
Yeah.
Now, I wandered around for probably 15 to 20 minutes. Um, I saw not another person anywhere.
Yep.
Um, I saw a couple of buildings. One of them was a church, but there was nothing significant inside.
Okay.
Um, the screen in which you operate, like you would go to the edge of the screen, and then the screen would it would take that, essentially take that rectangle, move it to the next spot up, and that's where you would continue a journey. So if you
Yep.
left at like the extreme upper right side of the camera, like that part of the screen, it would
Mhm.
reset. You could potentially take a single step and it would reset again as you continue to work your way
Oh,
diagonally.
oh no.
The navigation was a little tough, a little
Yeah.
hard to know what you were doing. The map
Yeah.
was, for all intents and purposes, useless to me. It told me where I needed to go, and I swear to God, I was walking in the right direction, but it just never showed up. So I didn't
I
get to accomplish much in way of gameplay when I played it.
so I I looked at like 4 or 5 different gameplay videos of this, and one of them was like a series that someone was doing. And I like watched a good chunk of one, and I'm like, well, I want to see like what combat looks like. They were outfitting these dudes with a lot of guns
Yeah,
and a lot of stuff. What does that look like? And in every video, there was zero combat.
Yeah. One of the
It was like, oh, I'm gonna go into like a house. I'm gonna like look around in here. And maybe there was like a character somewhere on the outside, like somewhere just in a field. But no, I didn't see any aggression or any combat for this World War III game.
I didn't either. One of the reviews specifically said, like, this is a really good take on a novel concept of, World War
Yeah,
III and all that stuff. It's just like any other turn, or like any other strategy RPG, just loads more combat. And I'm like,
yeah.
I haven't seen
Oh,
a damn thing regarding
I could not
combat.
find combat.
I'd
I
love
tried.
throw me loads more combat, please. I want to see how it
I
works.
want to
But
see what that looks like. There's a lot of cool ideas in there.
yeah,
Um, and even like it's 91. It is PC, so like maybe the technology's a little bit further than consoles. Uh, but like you can drive around in like a Jeep or like a truck or something, and everything's kind of in pseudo 3D.
yeah.
Like you're first person in the car and like driving around. And then everything else is isometric, like the original Fallout kind of, I guess.
That was
Might
that
be
was
the
what that was what came to mind when I
yeah.
saw it. I thought original Fallout, but I also thought original Fallout zoomed in too close.
Yeah, way zoomed in.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, it's like gameplay wise, I didn't really gather too much more about it. Like you're going on missions, you're doing either like humanitarian aid. I saw one mission was like help some civilians with like first aid. Uh, but once again, I could not it did not find any combat. Um, is there anything else like gameplay wise that
Not
you wanted to talk about?
not really.
Okay.
As you're wandering around, you have the ability to bring up a menu, lets you, update your loadout, lets you look at your map, lets you look at your character stats, things like that. But for the most part,
Yeah.
I never had a reason to check any of that stuff because there was literally zero threats in the world that I was in.
Right.
So, if I give it more time, and if you guys want to see what it's like I said, I'll share the link in Discord, for getting to the software library page where you can
Sure.
play it. Give it a shot.
And we'll also post like a gameplay video that we looked at
Yeah,
to just so you can see what we're talking about with like the base mechanics and
yeah.
your character stuff.
We'll show a couple of screenshots, things like that. That's what the Discord is kind of. That's how it'll be used. If you haven't been able to check it out, that's the kind of stuff that we'll include in there.
Yeah.
The only kind of interesting nugget that I found about I was going to say development. I actually found a lot of cool stuff about development, but there was a release for Amiga that was planned, but development was canceled for a reason that hasn't really been discussed. So, yeah, there would have been another version as of right now. Like they're going to do anything with it now, but it's on DOS and DOS only.
So Paragon, the developer of this, was purchased the year after this game came out. So
yes,
they were purchased by MicroProse.
Yes,
and they were kind of folded into MicroProse as a company. So Paragon stopped being a thing in '92. But Paragon themselves had been around since 1986. I think you mentioned that before. But they weren't necessarily doing RPGs like this.
No.
They did a lot of Marvel games, actually. So 1989, they did X-Men Madness and Murder World, which I'd never heard of.
Well, I didn't know the subtitle for it.
And also The Amazing Spider-Man and Captain America in Doctor Doom's Revenge, 1989, and The Amazing Spider-Man, and separately The Punisher in 1990. So they were kind of they did some of the earlier Marvel Comics adaptations of games. Like there were some earlier on like Atari. There was a Spider-Man. Was that Atari? I know we talked about it with like Crazy Climber or the week after.
I mean, I know there was a Spider-Man for the Atari. I don't know who developed it.
Oh, okay. Got it. Or we must have been talking about that in Discord. I don't think that was on the podcast itself. Anyways,
yeah,
they also did X-Men 2: The Fall of the Mutants in 1991.
Yes, another DOS game, and that's kind of their. They didn't do. I don't think I saw any work that they did make it to home console. It was always DOS or Atari. I guess Atari ST would kind of counter. I mean, like there's no SNES. There was no Nintendo Entertainment System. There was nothing like that. It was all kind of PC based.
Right.
But yeah, you had mentioned Marvel. The reason this game came around is because they had also had close ties with Game Designers Workshop, who were known for creating their pen and paper RPGs. I guess I don't know off the top of my head what other games Paragon worked on for them. Let me see if I can quickly. Oh, Paragon is a video game. That's not. That's not what
there is.
Paragon Studio. That's the wrong How many Paragon Studios are there?
It's a lot.
It's
a name that people like to use.
I guess so. Let's see here. We'll go with the Paragon. Software Corporation. I screwed it up.
Yes, that is Paragon Software. I'm sorry. I should have clarified.
I guess I don't. Okay. So Mega Traveler 2 Quest for the Ancients, that was also a board game adaptation. They also did Mega Traveler 1. I'm assuming this Millennium Return to Earth was also. So that was kind of their niche, was having their relationship with Marvel and with Game Makers Workshop or Game Designers Workshop. Now MicroProse. Did you see who founded MicroProse?
No.
Sid Meier.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, that guy.
Yeah. Sid Meier's Pirates. Sid Meier's, what the hell was his golf making? Civilization, yes. I don't know why that one didn't come to my head first.
Golf. I don't know.
Sid Meier's like golf. I don't remember. I maybe we had a golf course creator game or something that was kind of cool.
Is it Lynx?
No, it was not Lynx. It did not have pixelated John Daly on the front.
Railroad Tycoon. Civ.
Yeah, so all of the simulation games that weren't made by Maxis were made by Sid Meier. Also, I had to put this in here. I thought maybe this was a troll. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Lead play tester for this game was named Elvis Presley.
Probably a troll.
I thought it was a troll, but
it's got to be a troll.
He's credited on another game, a Paragon game called Mega Traveler 2, and he's also credited on a game developed by Deep Fried Entertainment called Major League Baseball 2K Fantasy All-Stars.
Well, maybe. All right.
Having him in 2 games with one company. All right, maybe a troll.
It's not unheard of.
Third game, I know. I mean, I have we both have. We're talking like we don't have famous names.
Yeah.
I'm known for a timeout that I called in the national championship, and you were a late night host.
I'm a late night host.
So
I swing golf clubs. I tell fortunes. It's fine.
So Elvis Presley may very well be. If it is, good for him.
Glad the king found work after death.
So I thought that was fun. Available in the software library. Like I said, if you want to give it a shot, physical copies, you can still get them. They're on eBay between $10 and $40 from what I saw.
Oh, one last thing.
Sure.
The one of the creators of Paragon went on to when they were purchased by MicroProse, where's the gentleman's name? Mark Saramet moved on. He was one of the creators of Paragon. Became an executive at MicroProse. Left a couple years later, and helped co-found a little company called Take-Two Interactive. He was the COO there from 93 to 98. That company spawned a little franchise called Grand Theft Auto, if you've heard of it. They also are you might know them as 2K these days. Take-Two owns 2K, correct?
I think they're I think that's what it is. Take-Two owns 2K, who publishes Rockstar. No, sorry, right. Take-Two publishes Rockstar games, right?
Take-Two is the parent company of Rockstar, 2K, and private division.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Oof. And Social Point?
Social
Point is
chestnut.
It's a mobile game publisher. Anyways, so he went on to help found that little company.
Yes,
but now.
Sorry, I was just gonna say I'm glad that you said that because I was gonna gloss over it, and that would have made me mad if I didn't let you say that, because this entire podcast is about making those kind of connections.
Yeah, exactly. I have one each week usually. That's probably my good one. Another major name from Paragon named Anthony Davies. It doesn't look like he went into games after they sold to MicroProse. It looks like he became an economist, or he was an economist. Paragon was founded while they were in college together. And Anthony now does a lot of op-eds and tries to do stuff on TV for looks like he's done stuff for CNN.com. But I guess he's a regular commentator on The Blaze.
Oh.
Weird conservative TV channel. Yeah.
Yeah. I learned a lot about The Blaze over the last couple months.
I don't prefer it.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I thought people might want to know where some of the people went to.
Yeah.
In the last 30 years. Anyways.
So I was going to touch on the critical reception of this game, but as I was looking at the critical reception, I had a personal revelation. So I'm going to start with the reception here quick. Reviews at the time are all over the place, but it did get a score of a 100 from a German outlet called ASM, and it's Octular Software Market. I don't know what that is. The lowest score is 57 given by PowerPlay, another German outlet, with 4 more scores ranging between 60 and 80. So it was a pretty well-received game. So this got me thinking. We're in episode 5 of Procedurally Generated. We've taken a look at now 25 games. Taking a look at 21 games, I guess at this point. We'll take a look at the
sure.
hour and a half. But people ask me all the time when they come into my Twitch chat, or when I tell them that I play games, they ask me, what kind of games do you play? And I've always responded with, I play everything. I give a couple caveats, but I play everything. And I realize as we go through this, the games that I don't play everything. Taking the caveats out and things like that. So this is a well-respected game. I mean, it got good reviews for the most part.
I would take that you play everything as that you are open-minded and you would play whatever looks interesting to you.
Right. It's definitely it's a
It's
matter of
not like
personal opinion, personal, likes and
it's one of those issues I have with going into here we go. It's one of those issues I have with going into like a Twitch channel and people introduce themselves as like, "Oh, I'm a variety streamer." It's like, well, that means that you could just play like whatever you want. Like, why even put that forward? Like, there is some sort of a cage that you're in for like the games that you play. Like, I know some people like focus like, "Oh, I'm a Sea of Thieves content creator."
Mhm.
I feel like in those instances, it's I find it more helpful than a variety streamer. I assume most people are variety streamers.
Yeah, I've always
To
provided
begin
that
with.
caveat when like raids come in and things like that.
Yeah,
But it's got me.
like
That's one of the reasons I was thinking about this. I think as we go through this, let's say we time travel. Okay, we'd have to time travel to. We're also immortal. We can time travel to
sure.
like 200 years, and we're almost done with this list.
Yep.
I-
Games have stopped being made.
right?
The perfect game has been made.
Yeah, people don't
It
even know what we're talking about anymore.
it turns out it's just it's Flappy Bird.
That's that.
Flappy
Yeah,
Bird ended games.
defined it. Yeah, defined.
Weird.
It caused the second video game crash that we never recovered from. But
Flappy Bird VR.
the idea that after we have taken a look at 130,000 games, there's
Yeah.
going to be maybe a fraction of a percent that I am genuinely interested in wanting to play. And that got me thinking about the whole, it's a dumb thing. It's just it's vernacular, really. I play everything, it's just the
Right.
response. But the fact is, like, I should change that to I don't play very much, I don't
Yeah.
compared to
I
what's out
play what
there.
I want to play.
Yeah. Um, it
And
got me
your list
thinking.
is a little bit more curated, right? Like your personal streaming lists are games or codes that you've had.
Yeah,
Like they
like the list that I pull from when I stream is something that I've seen in the distance. It's something that it's interested me. But
right.
that being said, I've also Grip Shift from last week's show
Yeah.
was a game that I added to that list because I do want to play it at some point.
See.
Is there a game on this week's? Not this week's.
Have you played the video game Everything?
I have not played the video game Everything, but I did.
So you don't play everything.
Yeah. Did you see the tweet that Wario64 put out saying that everything
Oh, like everything's on sale.
was on sale? I had Kate quick, you gotta log in. Everything's for $5.99, and then I'm like, wait, why isn't this working? And
wait.
that's what he did. Yeah. But yeah, I was just thinking about that. I think I'm going to stop using. And actually, you've kind of opened my eyes to using the term variety streamer.
I just noticed, I noticed trends with that stuff. Like if I go into different channels, I see either a lot of people doing the same thing, or saying the same thing, or like introducing themselves the same way.
Yeah,
and it makes me think about how I want to present myself as a streamer. Like, obviously, I want to set myself apart, but also there's things that are tried and true and work.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those things do work. Like there are reasons why people introduce themselves as an X whatever streamer or variety streamer. But some part of me like the roguelite thing fights against it. And it gets kind of weirdly annoyed by it. And I can't tell if that's me just being finicky about something, or if that's me noticing something that I just want to do differently.
Well, I mean, I think it does a credit to noticing something that exists in a way that could be informative yet off-putting.
Right.
and that's it's like I said, when you said it, I was like, God, it's a good point. I go through the same spiel when people come in, and I'm like, well, I don't want to do that anymore, you know. And that's kind of the perfect caveat to how I felt about, I play everything, and it's not right.
Right. Right.
So, but yeah, I saw that reception. It just got me thinking about games that have reviewed well that I have genuinely zero interest in playing. But that's all I have for Twilight 2000. We took a little bit of a diversion there, but do you have more?
The only other thing is I saw that earlier this year. It looks like there's a new version of the tabletop game coming out.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
It's using a different rule set, but the rule set is have you heard of the game Mutant Year Zero?
Yes, I
It's
have.
like a strategy game.
Yes, with
It's
giant animals.
Yeah, so that was originally based off a tabletop game. Twilight 2000 is going to be using a similar version of that system.
Okay.
Or from what I saw, which made me think about Mutant Year Zero again, and kind of like looked into that a little bit more. But maybe we'll get there one day.
Yeah, who knows? We could see a Twilight 2030 soon.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So,
but yeah, it's cool to see that it's been dormant for a while. It hasn't seen a new version of the tabletop game for 12 years. So I'm sure for people who are fans of Twilight 2000, that's going to be great for them.
Yeah. I mean, I think from what I can tell, it was a very popular board game. So, should we move on to game number 2?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, we should.
Would you like to introduce this one?
Yeah. So the next game is a tactical JRPG for the PlayStation Portable called Summon Night 5. And that's it. We're moving on to the next game. No, so Summon Night 5 obviously is the fifth main entry in the Summon Night series. What's weird about this game, it's the first original version on the PSP. So it had moved from PlayStation 1 to PS2 to PSP. This is also the first game that wasn't made by its original developer. Let me pull up my notes here.
Yes, this one was, in fact, the developer that created this one. This was their only crack at the Summon Night franchise.
It was, which is interesting. I thought that they would have gone further with it. Oh, where did it go? Do you have the name of the original developer of
the original developer of the Summon Night?
Yeah,
I don't have that. I have the current developer.
So the developer of this one was Felistella.
Yeah.
The previous developer was. Thought I had it. Summon Night 1. Flight Plan was the original developer.
Oh, I've seen that, but I wouldn't have got there.
Yeah, they did. Oh boy, they did a ton of Summon Nights. There weren't just 4 beforehand. There were like 10 to 15.
Goosh.
Yeah, so this was in the transition of that company was shut down, and Flight Plan was shut down in 2010. But Ban Presto, who owned the rights to the Summon Night franchise, decided we're going to keep it going. So they got Felistella to create Summon Night 5, but while they were working on that, they also remastered 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and brought those over to PSP from their original consoles, which is a nice way to bring an entire series onto a portable system.
Did they?
I don't know.
They brought the 1 and 2 over as PlayStation Classics, though, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
3 and 4 were enhanced remakes.
Yeah, and then 5 was the first actual full 3D Summon Night that was put out?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
Because they used a lot of similar technology while they were making a previous game. Also with Ban Presto, which was so many names. So many games, so many
Also
names.
published by Namco Bandai. Let's just throw that out there.
Yeah, I think they hold the rights now because Banpresto was. Let's see here. Rights were transferred to Banpresto, which in turn transferred to Bandai Namco.
And then just real quick, this game was released in 2013. I don't think we.
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry. And it was released in North America in 2015.
We're talking about the PSP version, but it was also the Vita, correct?
Was it Vita here?
I think it was PSP and Vita.
Huh.
Maybe not here. Well,
I don't know.
I guess it would have. I don't know. I have it written down as both, so it's if it wasn't true before, it is now.
Oh, it was released digitally here.
Okay.
With a limited edition, a limited physical edition the year after.
Okay.
Apparently, it was very successful here, which allowed Summon Night 6 to be released in North America as well. Mm-hmm. Again, by a different developer, which I'm not even going to look into who that was at the moment because too many names on the brain for this one. Now, the transition from like Summon Night 4 to Summon Night 5, obviously different companies working on it, but they did bring over like the scenario writer from the previous games and also the character artist from the previous games as well to keep a similar feel to the series. One major difference between previous Summon Nights and Summon Night 5 was Summon Night 5 brought the series from a more medieval setting, more fantasy setting into a more modern day setting, but still with like monsters and fantasy tropes. But it felt like a more modern RPG to those PSP players. I don't know. Like gameplay wise, it looks like a pretty standard tactical RPG.
Yeah, I mean, and I do this all the time. Every time I see a game like this, I think back to Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah.
Which I used to adore that game, but I don't think I could sit down and play a game like that anymore, which kills me because it looks like it'd be a fun game to play. It looks like something I could sink my teeth in, but I don't have the patience for tactical RPGs anymore.
I do and I don't. I've been trying to get into like Disgaea for
the one that comes
15
to mind.
years.
Like I wish I was more into Disgaea, but
I'm into all the wild stuff that Disgaea is like throwing at you. But there's a lot of like Disgaea. You can level things like 9,999.
Yeah, that's
for like the actual level. So, I always get caught up in like that. I'm like, oh, I want to maximize what I'm doing with these characters, and I won't even like go and do the main plot, and then I just kind of like fall off. With what's the Summon Night series, it's kind of split into two different types of games. Like its combat is a tactical RPG. It's grid based. You have like 4 or 5 characters on the field. They all have like magic attacks. They have physical attacks. They have like support attacks. So if you have like characters standing next to each other, they'll make their attacks more powerful. It's pretty boilerplate JRPG tactics stuff. The other half of the game is a visual novel. So the story's all played out with not anime cutscenes, but like partially animated exposition dumps, where you just have like a scene play out between characters and kind of give you the basis of whatever the hell's going on.
You know, when I said I play everything, and then I specifically said I have certain caveats.
Yeah,
visual novels are one of my caveats. So
yeah, I don't really
the one.
Yeah, I think the thing that would make me play Summon Night is the tactical RPG stuff. Like I can get down with a tactical RPG. I just don't know about the visual novel stuff. This game does feature multiple endings, so there is some replayability. I think it's whoever your cross character that you pick. It's like a step brother or sister.
So you start the
whatever.
game by picking one of two characters, and then you have an option for 4 different. You pick one of 4 cross characters, which I heard them called out as animals too. I don't.
I
So
have no.
it sounds like we're on maybe different pages on that one, but
Maybe
what it
I
does
don't.
is
I've been in a lot of Summon Night pages. So
yeah, so I mean, it kind of creates a little bit of a way to experience the game in kind of 8 different ways. The main story probably won't fluctuate much between it, but you know, the way that the characters will interact with various situations.
right.
But this game was released well after Sony discontinued the PlayStation Portable. But
here, at least, like PSP was going strong in Japan for a long time.
Yeah, okay, that could be.
Yeah.
I think I did, the article that I read, I found this on Gamasutra.
Oh, sure.
They had announced in the summer of 20 this released in 2013. It must have been the summer of 2012 that they were discontinuing the PSP, and this game came out in a full year after they discontinued it. But it's still, like you said, it still found a lot of success. Like there was still that market that existed.
I just looked it up. PSP was discontinued in North America in January 2014. Which the game didn't come out here until 2015. So
okay.
Yes, that just fall in line. Japan was June 2014, so it was actually after us. And then the PAL, so the European regions, was December 2014, which I'm surprised that went longer than Japan.
Yeah,
even
that's kind of crazy.
But when was the Vita released then? That was probably like what, 2012?
The Vita is a
Vita was Japan 2011. North America was 2012.
Okay.
Weird. Okay.
Let's see. I thought this game had a unique announcement, and that I can't. It makes sense, but I can't think of a time that I've ever heard a video game actually announced this way. But it was announced in a video or in a video game mag. Well, I don't know if it was a video game magazine, but it was a magazine.
Was it Famitsu?
No, it was called V Jump.
Oh.
So.
V Jump.
Yeah, the game itself was actually.
Oh, it's a shonen manga magazine. So it's like Shonen Jump. It's like where like Dragon Ball would be.
Okay.
Dragon Ball's like comic book home. Yu-Gi-Oh. There's a Dragon Quest thing in there. Naruto. One Piece. Those kinds of.
I recognize all those names.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So it's kind of like one of the bigger publishers of manga in Japan.
Okay. Well, that was the home to Summon Night 5's announcement to the world.
Cool.
So
yeah.
I do not. Okay, and this could be because it is notoriously difficult to get details on Japanese developed games. I don't have much of anything in ways of the development.
I don't. Besides, like that the development company is different from before. It looks like there was some content that was lost, or at least wasn't put onto the UMD for the game. Probably because of like size restrictions, but it seems like a lot of stuff was actually cut from the game. To fit onto the. I think like the game ended up being like 1.7 gigabytes, which is like just under the UMD disk size limit. And I guess like adding another disk would be quite a bit more for production costs.
I can imagine, yeah.
But yeah,
not if you're Devil May Cry 2.
No, right? It's a little different. DVD versus a UMD within a plastic case. Those discs are weird. Let's see here.
I mean, I do have.
Sorry, I was just reading stuff about like the localization, about how
Okay.
it says almost 2 years after its initial release, Gaijin Works announced that it, in conjunction with Monkey Paw Games, would localize the game into English and release it sometime in 2015 in North America and Europe. They announced that polls would be later released to gauge interest for a physical UMD release. Victor Ireland of Gaijin Works announced that the game would not receive an English dub, stating that it was not within the game's budget. So, while it was localized, the actual Japanese voices stayed. It was not the only thing that was translated were the actual words, the written word.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. That happens a lot, especially in the last 10 years or so. If you look at like the Yakuza series, we haven't had a fully localized version of Yakuza. Geez, since like 1 or 2?
Did Like a Dragon have English option?
Yes. Yep.
It did. Okay, I remember that being news back in the day.
Yeah, it was a really big deal. So like they have English voices, including George Takei.
Oh,
Takai. Nice. As like one of the main characters, which he does really well. And they also put in mouth syncing for English voices in like the bigger cutscenes. Like, so they found that in English speaking territories they found an audience, especially with like Yakuza 6 and Yakuza 0 and Kiwami. It was people were really latching onto the series, and with this one being a fresh starting point for people, they went all out and added all that stuff. So I think that's awesome. It's been super great to see and play through.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyways, back to Summon Night.
Well, I mean, in terms of like reception, unless you have anything else on development.
No,
okay,
that's it.
Moby has a single score of 70 by RPG Site, and Metacritic has it's currently sitting at a 74. So a very average tactical RPG, maybe above average tactical RPG. And availability, I don't know. I mean, maybe
it should be on the PlayStation Store. I don't know what the price is.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, I guess
I didn't check.
I saw Amazon and eBay have physical versions at around $50.
Sounds right.
So, but yeah, I guess I didn't check PlayStation 3 for getting that. Well, no, I don't know if it would be on PlayStation Store. It would be on it for Vita, I guess.
Yeah, it would.
So I don't have a way of checking that.
I could try checking during the break, but
so, yeah, if you're interested in a tactical RPG and it's available, maybe that's the one.
And I guess. Just quickly, not development related, but Felistella has gone on to make. They did stuff in the Hyperdimension Neptunia series.
Oh yeah.
They brought the first 3 games to Vita. They did Luminous Arc Infinity for the Vita, and their current game that they're working on is called Maglum Lord. That's going to be for PlayStation 4 and Switch. I don't know anything about it though.
Okay.
That's it. They're still around. They're still doing things. Usually for Compile Heart or Marvelous or in Maglum Lord. Hard to say. That's for D3 publishing.
All right. Well, there you have it.
Yeah.
Summon Night 5. It's a little out of our wheelhouse, but we did our best.
Tiny bit, yeah.
And I think we did all right.
A little bit more in our wheelhouse. What's next, Chris?
The next game we have on our list is called Stories Untold. This game. Well, let's go through the baseball card stats here quick. Developed by No Code, published by Devolver Digital. It is it's kind of an adventure. I put point and click, but that's not right. It is not so much a point and click game as it is.
It is and it isn't.
Yeah, we'll get into that. We had the Switch version, which released in 2020, but the game itself released in, I believe, 2017.
That sounds right.
On PS4 Well, now I'm not sure about that. I think the PS4 and the Xbox version also released in 2020. The PC version released in 2017. So I actually downloaded this game back. It was free on Epic for a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Yep. I've been seeing this game around for quite a while.
Yeah.
Including Epic. So.
I loaded it up when it released, and within 10 minutes, I was like, I don't know how to do what I need to do here. We're done. But
it starts out with a text adventure, right?
Yeah, so it's split into different parts. I did give it another shot for the show, and I realized I'm not going to spend the time to figure this out on my own. I am not. I've never really gotten into and played a text adventure because I think that they're hard. They're hard to. It's hard to know what they want you to do at times. So I decided, like, instead of that, why don't I give it a shot, but look at a guide? So Steam had a guide telling you exactly what to do, when to do it, and I'm so glad that I played it that way. But before I get into my experience with the game, this is kind of what it is. Stories Untold. It consists of 4 parts. All of these parts circle around a single character. His name is James Asian. Every part has a different setting, and it has very different gameplay. The first part, like John said, is a text adventure, but then it gets into some weird, some different puzzle mechanics. But they all do tie together. It's not super obvious at first. The first part, yes, text adventure in an abandoned house. The second part deals with assisting scientists to experiment on an alien artifact. The third one is set in a radio transmission station in a cold environment. And then the fourth part kind of brings some of those things together. Let me see. There isn't an inventory in this game, which is pretty different for games of this ilk. But instead, it's all interacting with your environment.
Right. Everything that you need is within the world, or like whatever's set in front of you.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes. But the twist is it's a game based in the 80s. So the machinery, the computers, the stuff that you're working with is archaic and outdated. There was a good article that I found on Gama Sutra by John.
I'm looking at it right now.
the John McKellen one about how
yeah.
So he goes on to talk about how the UI was designed to create kind of a nostalgic familiarity, something that almost brings a smile to your face when you first see it. If you live through those times, brings a smile to your face if you're younger, because you're like, what the hell is this thing? But it's designed to grab that emotion and then kind of rip it away, because you realize this isn't actually a fun thing to mess with.
Yeah, like, oh, all these things are super complicated and have always been. Like, you remember using these, but like going back to use them are like needlessly complicated.
Yeah, it's
due to the technological limitations. So
yeah, it was a cool interview that I had a chance to look at before I played the game, and it kind of made me a little bit more appreciative of what they were presenting.
Right.
So the first part, The House Abandoned, is what the first part is called. It was originally created as a 72-hour game jam project for Ludum Dare 36.
Okay.
It was expanded upon, kind of remastered and touched up and stuff, and then it was added to Stories Untold and kind of set the groundwork for the rest of the story. You can play any of the parts whenever you want, but it is designed to be played in order. Let me see before I jump ahead. Yeah, I think that's a good lead into my experience with the game. So I never in my life would have figured out how to finish this game. It just never would have happened. I don't have
Sure.
either the brain for it. It's
But Chris, you play everything.
I do play everything.
I've heard that you play everything.
Literally everything.
You're also great at everything.
Also true. Yes. Tell your friends.
He's the best.
So I looked up that guide, like I said, and I followed it step for step. And it took me about 2 hours to work through all 4 of the parts. So I actually started this game and beat it, which it's a first for the podcast. But I'm glad that I played it. So the first part was a text adventure. And you're right. I got to like the third or fourth screen. I did try without the guide. I made it to like the third or fourth part, and I'm just like, "What are you asking me to do?" And it was simply like look at generator or something, and like that's the kind of stuff where I'm just like, I just forget it.
Yeah, but it's also doing other things besides like the text adventure. Like you're playing this text adventure on an old it looks like a green screen PC.
Yeah.
But as you're like typing stuff in and like progressing in the text adventure, like, oh, your light's going out, or like a spark pops off something, or lightning's going off in the background. Like there are other things in like the environment that are creating additional ambiance.
Yeah,
it's very effective. It's very cool.
It is. It's really creepy, and the best example I think that I can give as I was playing through the text adventure portion was working through the stuff at one point. I think you flip a switch. No, what is I can't remember the exact circumstance, but something in the text adventure, all of the power gets cut, and as soon as you read that, the power to the room gets cut.
Yep.
And then you realize, like, as you're working through this, there's some weird you're experiencing the things that are happening in the text adventure, but you're not experiencing them firsthand. You're seeing what's on the screen, but these things are happening around you as this adventure moves forward.
But also like when you boot it back up, like the start screen is like upside down, and it's like flashing, and you can see in the image it says "Get out, get out, get out, get out."
Yeah.
And then when you get back into the text adventure, it's you're typing in the same things, but it's pushing out different text for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like the game has been modified after all the lights go out.
Yeah, it was cool. If you want to challenge yourself to this kind of game, by all means, go nuts. But I think the story all the way through is worth experiencing. It's not a major drain on time if you follow a guide. There's a really good one on Steam that did not steer me wrong at any point. And it ends in a way that was I was like, oh boy, you know, that was an interesting look at that type of a situation.
Right.
I won't go into any more details than that, but overall, I'm glad that I actually sat down and spent the 2 hours to get through the full thing. And I would encourage people to do the same while following a guide, unless you like those kind of games. By all means, try to figure it out. But this game was nominated for some. Well, actually, before I go on to that, okay. So yes, we got the Switch version of this game.
Yeah.
Now, this game is extremely reliant upon keyboard entry.
Yeah, how does that work on Switch? Like, does the keyboard pop up?
No, they tried that.
Okay.
And what they found out, there's another really good Gamasutra article, but it actually is what is it called? The Tale of Porting No Code's Text-Based Stories Untold to Switch. That's actually what it's called. But they tried. They were like, well, let's make a virtual keyboard. And he said that I don't remember if it was I don't remember if it was John McKellen who did that interview again as well, or if it was another developer. But they had
someone from like Devolver.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think it was somebody from No Code.
Okay,
but they had said it made the actual game worse because the act of inputting something on a virtual keyboard it's just
bad,
clunky. It's finicky.
Yeah,
and when it's already kind of a frustrating experience, not knowing you have to play these games. If you play it without a guide, like people that want to challenge themselves, not me. Trial and error is part of it, but
Right.
it's you approach it with an acceptable limit of how much trial and error you can tolerate. When your trial and error is then made worse by having finicky input and having to like weirdly backspace to fix a typo that you made or something like that, they said
Right.
like that's just not how we want to do it. So instead what they did was they adopted something similar to Monkey Island, which I have not played Monkey Island. I think I think I might have dabbled with it.
Did they do like the verb tree?
You pick a verb
Like,
and a noun. Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Or you pick a
That's
verb
smart.
and you click on something on the screen.
Sure.
But I didn't get to play. I didn't play the Switch version because I had
You played the PC one. Yeah.
But it seemed like something that they were happy with. I'm assuming.
I think that kind of goes into the design of text adventures to begin with. Like, you want to interact with something that's been mentioned.
Yeah.
And maybe that's where you're getting caught up, like trying to think of other things that might be around. But if they mention like a generator, you might want to check a generator, or like a glove box or something. Now I'm just giving away all the all the answers to this thing. I am the guide.
Well, that gets you about 2.5 minutes into the game, so
yeah, totally.
Rest.
But that, I think that's a very cool, smart way to translate that to a controller.
Yeah,
without having to rely on either touchscreen controls or the actual like system keyboard, or somehow using like the keyboard that's in the image.
Yeah, which
would be a nightmare.
Incredibly rough.
Yeah.
So
these guys made Observation, right?
They did. That was their well, I think it was technically their third game. I can't remember if Stories Untold was their first game, but Observation was their
that's their newest, right?
The most recently, yeah. And I haven't played it yet, but people have.
I've heard awesome things. My buddy Matt was like, he's like, that game's dope. You should check it out. He was loving it. So
okay. Well, and this game actually got a lot of positive feedback as well. I think that it slid under the radar because of the kind of game that it is. But this, so
it slid under the radar for me because they leaned in hard with the Stranger Things font and ambiance. For like
we'll touch on that.
Their marketing. Okay, all right, great.
Yeah, it's true. They definitely took the Stranger Things vibe and ran with it. But in terms of like reception, this game was nominated for a TIGA. Is it Taiga? I'm not going to say Taiga because then I think of the rapper.
Taiga.
The TIGA Games Industry Award for Best Action and Adventure Game. So the nominees were some of these games I've never heard of, but some of them are very good. Also, this category is all over the map. Super Cloud Built, Late Shift, The Flame and the Flood, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy,
sure,
Farpoint, Neo, Sniper Elite 4, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, and Yooka-Laylee.
Wow. What?
Stories was nominated with that group for the best action adventure game. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice ended up winning, but it was nominated. It was also nominated.
It's an honor
for the best puzzle game, alongside.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, it was alongside the Sexy Brutale, A Matter of Murder, Hue, which is kind of a cool game, Merge Dragon, Shadowhand, Swim Out, Cubic, Simon's Cat, Crunch Time, Tumble VR, and Binaries.
Big category.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tumble VR ended up winning that award. But now a separate outlet, the Golden Joystick Awards, it was actually nominated for Indie Game of the Year in 2017. These are all in 2017, by the way.
Yeah.
So that would have been the year that it released on PC. And the other nominees for that were Dream Daddy, Everything. Weird that we just referenced that game. Friday the 13th, Night in the Woods, Pyre, Slime Rancher, Tacoma, Thimbleweed Park, and What Remains of Edith Finch. Would you like to take a stab at what won that year?
Edith Finch.
No. I ask that because you would have. I almost fell over when I saw that Friday the 13th won that award.
Oof.
Yeah, over Pyre.
Recently shut down.
Yeah. So,
Huh.
you know, what can you do?
I would have picked like 3 games before that. Like Slime Rancher is pretty good.
Pyre, Super Giant.
Pyre. Yeah, that was a hell of a Tacoma.
Yep.
Like
Night in the Woods.
in the Woods, it's a big year.
Yeah, and
Friday
then
the 13th win?
Edith Finch, and yeah, then Friday the 13th.
Oh boy.
So,
oh boy. Jason must have been threatening them.
I guess
he's there with the machete.
They had their award ceremony at Camp Crystal Lake.
Oh no. Do you think anybody told them that they shouldn't do that?
It's if these are the selections that they're going to make, if they're going to give it to Friday the 13th, that's where they should have held it. That was too much. Was too much. I think I just wished death on.
Oh no.
Anyway,
I mean, it's the real world. You may or may not die at the real Crystal Lake.
That's true.
In Minnesota,
there is probably one somewhere around here, huh?
Oh, yeah, there is one. Yeah, so. Absolutely. Isn't there a town called Crystal Lake?
There might be. I bet that place is dangerous.
Probably.
Throw all of the baddies.
Yeah, let's throw shade at our Minnesota neighbors.
If you're from Crystal, let us know about all your cereal.
Or Crystal Lake. I'm right by Crystal, actually.
Oh, actually, yeah. My wife used to live in Crystal.
Yeah, it's not that far off. Anyways.
Yeah. We talked about Stranger Things. The game's poster and logo was created by Kyle Lambert, who did the work on Stranger Things.
Oh, okay.
So the vibe
that makes more sense.
Yeah.
I thought they were just like, this thing's really popular. I thought that was like a Devolver idea. Well, maybe it was.
It could have been.
Like you could hire someone for marketing.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let's get a proper title screen.
So if you take a look at the Discord after the show is up, I'm going to have a link to the tweet where Kyle actually tweeted out the art that he had done for the poster. And I'm also going to tweet out a link to his website because it is so good. You think of Stranger Things, but he has done a ton of other stuff for a ton of other like entertainment, not franchises, properties. Really cool stuff. Everything kind of follows the same theme, or at least in terms of the art looks kind of the same, but it's a really cool take on.
He has a style,
and he does
it well.
Very
does it very well.
Maybe we'll reach out and try to get a PG poster made by him.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yes. Patreon goal.
Can we get like someone with a synthesizer? Can we get like who did the Fez soundtrack? Disaster Piece. Let's get Disaster Piece to do a theme song, and we'll have this guy do the art.
I like it. So I did reach out to No Code, but I didn't get anything back. So I was hoping to get something back, but they're
busy.
Yeah. Someday. But so No Code, we had talked. Observation is their most recent release. Before they released Untold Stories, they had worked on Super. Well, no, that's not true. I think Super Arclight is still coming out. I think it's a mobile game. Kind of it's a stylish shooter. Something. What am I thinking of? The PlayStation 4 launch game that was super popular.
Resogun?
Kind of, yeah. It reminded me of Resogun, but just a little bit different.
Is it like a side-scrolling shmup?
Well, it's not side-scrolling though. It's kind of top down. You have to. It's hard to. It's hard to explain. But I wanted to focus on John McKellen specifically. Yeah. So he was the director of Stories Untold, and he also is the founder of No Code. But he's worked on some pretty big games. Not a lot, but the two that I found the best reference to was he was the lead of UI and design on Alien Isolation, which had amazing UI.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah, and you can see his work from that in Stories Untold.
Yeah,
that aesthetic, that kind of retro It's not retrofuturistic, but
lots of
technological.
Like LCDs and LED screens,
yeah,
and all that. Like,
yeah, it was really.
You definitely tell he had done it before.
Yeah, and then he also worked as senior UI. Worked as a senior UI designer for Rockstar.
Oh,
so there's another
great.
Rockstar reference.
He does have a special thanks in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
But most interesting to me, I know this is not the Rockstar thing. He did video and motion graphics on APB.
Okay, that's on
All Points Bulletin. It was like a GTA like.
Yeah, it's free to play on PS4, I think.
Oh, that was a game.
Yeah, I think I remember trying.
They had that at the first E3 that I went to. Maybe it was the second one. It was like they had a huge booth for APB.
That game was supposed to be huge.
Yeah, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't great. Yeah.
So, in terms of if this is a game that you'd like to check out, it was free, like I said, on Epic from May 21st to June 11th, somewhere around those dates. There were Black Friday sales. Now, I know we're past Black Friday. It had it as low as $2.49. Most of those have expired, but there is still one that is going through, I think, Friday of this week. So go to isthereanydeal.com. And then there's a Nuvem, Nuuvem. Now, I've never heard of the website.
I've never heard of it either.
I guess be careful, but Is There Any Deal has never steered me wrong. But yeah, for $2.49, you can experience this game. Get a guide. I would think, I'm going to say the story is definitely worth $2.50. If you can find 2 hours of your time. But the normal price is $10 on PC. I also saw it was 50% off on Switch right now. So $4.99.
It's not bad.
That might also be a good way to take it. And it's still full price on PS4 and Xbox. So reception wise, movie scores range between 90 and a 60. Metacritic sits at 81. So it's
good.
Real good score for Metacritic.
Good.
The high was it was actually given a perfect score from Telegraph.
Oh wow!
And the low was a 59 from New Game Network. And then OpenCritic has it as a strong overcritic rating, with the top critic average being 80 and 76% of critics recommending the game.
Well, it seems like it's a game with a strong premise that doesn't overstay its welcome.
Yeah,
probably just leaves a really good impression.
Yeah, like I said, I almost felt like I needed to know where the story went, and I'm glad that I did. I thought it came together really, really well.
Good, excellent.
That's our third game. Should we take a break?
Let's break it.
Cool.
Break it down.
Welcome back. Let's roll into part 2 of Procedurally Generated.
Hey, quick question.
Sure. What do you got?
What are you drinking this week? We both cracked beers before the old podcast started.
We did.
We got a refresh during the break. What are you drinking? What's your beer of the week?
My first beer was a Boulevard Unfiltered Wheat Hazy American Classic.
Oh yeah.
My refill beer was a Boulevard Snow and Tell, an oak-aged Scotch ale.
Ooh, that sounds like it's got some bite to it.
Yeah, I'm trying to find if there's.
Sounds real brown.
It's not too. It's 5.9. What was the wheat? 4.4. So we've stepped up our game a little bit.
Yeah. We're gonna get wild in the second third. Oh no. That math doesn't add up.
What do you got?
I'm finishing up my first beer, which is a Fulton Sweet Child of Vine.
Oh, always a good choice.
And then the other one that I have waiting in the wings is a Goose Island Christmas IPA.
Oh.
Which that one is I want to say that was in the 8 range.
Okay.
7.5.
I just imagine it's a bunch of Christmas bulbs smashed up and poured in a bottle.
That's it. I'm actually just drinking glass.
Yeah.
Just straight colored glass.
Yeah.
I'm bleeding into my own insides right now.
Yeah, that's going to be some kind of hangover.
yeah. Call an ambulance, please.
This was
I might need
choice. But do you feel jolly?
Yeah, I think I feel pretty jolly, which is perfect. When you have family over, and you just wanna break out the Wii, and you wanna play a party game of some sort.
That transition.
I think this next game might fit the bill. It's not quite a Jackbox,
no,
but it is a pedigree of popular board games from Hasbro. Our friends at Hasbro.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anybody there, but they're my friends.
Yeah,
I'm sure
they're great people.
This is Hasbro's Family Game Night DOS for the Nintendo Wii, and this is a game collection featuring famous Hasbro games: Jenga, Picturica, which I'd never heard of before.
Thank God.
Yes, it's a thing that exists. Connect 4x4, which I had also not heard of before.
Wait, you never heard? Hold on, Connect
4x4 specifically. I've heard of Connect 4.
Oh,
but Connect 4x4 is a 4-player variant on Connect 4 that does exist in the physical space. We'll talk about it. Operation and Bop It are the 5 games in this one. There's a DS version. I did not really research the DS version. It also comes with Battleship.
Ooh, that would be the. I mean, that's the one right there. That's all I want.
Oh, totally. The DS version is Operation, Bop It, Connect 4, and Battleship. Obviously, on the DS, it's easier to do Battleship because you're on your own.
Oh, I suppose, yeah.
You're on your own portable system. But yeah, this is a board game collection, a virtual board game collection for the Nintendo Wii, where you play your board games. Where when I was initially researching this, I'm like, oh, it's just going to be digital versions of these things, which in some cases it is. Connect 4x4 is very much Connect 4. You're dropping discs into a Connect 4 playfield. Well, what do you call that? The Connect 4 environment.
I mean, I guess it's a board.
It's a board. I don't know. You're dropping game pieces into a Connect 4 thing.
Yeah.
But it's for 4 players. I guess we'll get into the Connect 4 thing. Connect 4x4 has regular Connect 4 pieces, which in this case, the regular pieces are hollowed out in the middle, so you can see through them. And you're actually playing with 2 different boards side by side. Side by side, like a book that's closed.
Yeah, it was weird looking. And I guess that should have been my hint that this is not standard Connect 4.
Right. They are parallel. So you'll put in a disc or a checker, whatever they are. And someone else will put theirs in, and someone else will put theirs in, and they'll put it on one of the sides. No matter what side you put it in, it counts as a line, depending on, or no matter what side you're putting it in. So if one side you have, let's say yellow, blue, yellow, and the other side is like green, yellow, red, all 3 of those yellows are lined up. If that makes sense.
So
they're all technically
okay.
They're technically taking the same places on both sides of the game board,
Okay.
That's why you can see through them, so you can see to the other side to see what colors are on the other side of the board. Now, there's also pieces called blockers, which are in the game, in the video game, they look like regular Connect 4 pieces. Like they're solid, they're solid discs. But in like the physical version, they're actually two discs together, and you drop them so they occupy spaces on both sides of the board. So you can block people's moves no matter which side that they choose to go on.
Okay.
Since you're playing with 4 people, things get complicated. You'll want to block spots in multiple planes of existence, I guess.
Tiers. I don't. Yeah.
It's 4D chess.
It's a good thing this isn't a video podcast because
Yeah.
I have the most dumbfounded look on my face right now, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's so hard to explain. I don't know why I'm go look up a tutorial on Connect 4x4.
Well, in the Discord, I do have in the Discord, I do have a gameplay video showcasing all 4 of the or all 5 of the game variants. I guess I just must not have been paying attention to Connect 4x4 because
I don't know. I actually had to look up like an actual physical Connect 4x4 tutorial. I'm like, how is this working? I need to see what this game looks like in the real world, and it made sense there.
Before we move into the other games, we should probably just detail that this was developed by EA Brightlight, published by Electronic Arts, released in 2009.
Yep.
So, give you some context about who and when. But continue.
Yeah. Let's see here. Other games that are pretty much exactly their board game versions. Life. Oh no, sorry, that was another game.
Oh, it's another one.
Sorry.
Life and Battleship. We can talk about things that
Life was in 3. A YouTube video just went straight into the gameplay for Game Night 3. All right, now I need to get my brain back on Game Night 2.
Hosted by Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah, that's right. That's also weird. He gets
Not
into
like
it,
Toy
man.
Story Potato Head.
He gets real into it.
Yeah.
Oh, Bop It. You're pressing buttons on the Wii remote, or like turning the Wii remote in specific ways that it tells you on screen, while there's a 3D representation of a Bop It on the screen. Which doesn't make sense. I don't know why Bop It's in there.
Yeah, that one was seeing like how to play like push button and make this motion. Bop It was the one that I'm like, I would never. I don't want to play that one.
Yeah.
Iteration.
Picturica, which is a multiplayer picture finding game. So it'll show you like a collage of images, and it'll say find things that are like furniture. And so you're pointing the Wii remote at the screen and trying to find like a chair or like some piece of furniture in the menagerie of photos.
I'm wondering, since you pulled furniture out, if we watched the same video.
Yes, absolutely. Probably.
If we did, there were not 5 furniture on that screen. There was one, and I was watching this poor guy struggle clicking on things that like maybe furniture, but there was nothing else to choose. I was like, I felt so bad for him.
Mr. Potato Head's pranking him. Jenga's Jenga.
And also looks impossible.
It does. It looks like the physics are real wonky.
Oh, how do you do Jenga on a Wiimote? I can't even do it with my regular
When did Boom Blocks come out? Boom Blocks was an EA game, right?
Is that
so I wonder if the
game?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I wonder if they used the physics engine from Boom Blocks. It is an EA game. Developers EA Los Angeles and DreamWorks Interactive. So, anyways, Jenga looks impossible. You are grabbing blocks and pulling them, but not. It's like if you're pulling them, but you like attach the rubber band to the block, and then you start pulling the rubber band,
Yeah.
and there's like some resistance, and the block will slowly come out, but like you might be pulling it harder than you want it to. Like it seems like the control on that's just ridiculous, and the whole Jenga tower will shift and move as you're pulling it, and it looks
Yeah.
like it's going to collapse
Jenga
through
has
itself somehow.
yeah. In real life, Jenga has like you can tell by looking at it, like, okay, this one's not touching. We can get this one.
Yeah, yeah.
Now imagine that all of the blocks are the exact same, and you have to use a Wiimote with its technical precision being what it is
Uh-huh.
to grab a block and pull it from something that has the exact same amount of pressure on it as the block next to it and the block next to it.
Yeah.
Uh, I watched him try it once and I'm like, forget it. That's
Yeah,
never ever gonna work.
rough. That looks rough. The game that I was surprised that wasn't exactly like its board game counterpart was Operation.
Yeah. I had
Uh,
some thoughts as I was watching that.
yeah, so Operation, it chooses whatever ailment the Operation dude has, whether it's a texting thumb, or a ringing in his ear, and whoever's turn it is to pull that item out of him, goes into a mini game where the camera goes like deep inside this dude's body into some whatever orifice, and you are pulling out that item with the Wii remote. I'm guessing I think it's with like the B button and the A button. You're just like pinching with the Wii remote.
Mm-hmm.
But then the camera starts like pulling back, and there's shapes in like the path. So you have to turn the item to make it go through these rings that are shaped like the item. It's like a reverse hole in the wall.
Yeah, when I saw the video, it looked like the dude had been shot by a butterfly.
Yes,
And
yeah,
then
it's a huge
it
bullet
was
wound.
performing a deep tissue bullet extraction
Mm-hmm.
by turning the butterfly to match the shapes as it came out.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was. I mean, the concept is there. I mean, you're
it's
reaching in,
totally
you're
there.
pulling something out. It's just it's an interesting way to gamify it.
I don't know why I
Further
didn't
gamify it.
like think of it being something like that, but I'm like, oh yeah, Operation. Like you have a Wii remote that's always gonna be shaky and weird, anyways. Like, oh, that'd be fun to just do a basic version of Operation, but they went like all out with it. Surprisingly,
Yeah, they did.
am I
Did
missing
you
anything from this?
did you
No.
watch? Well, there's High Score Mania,
Yes. Yep.
and I had literally no idea what was happening.
So High Score Mania, it looks like it goes through like 10 different levels, but it'll switch between the different games. So it'll do like here's a thing of Operation, here's a thing of Connect 4x4, here's a thing of Jenga. Like you have to complete these challenges in a row and get the high score. I didn't see if there were like different levels to it or if it's like just completely randomized. Uh but that's all that there really was to it. And each game also has like some of them have like a remix mode or like different versions that you can go into. I didn't really delve too deep into those though.
Well, I thought that's what I was watching with the Connect 4x4, but apparently that's just the game.
Yeah, that's just Connect 4. They're like, how do we squeeze a 4-player version of Connect 4 in here? Yeah, I don't really have too much more on Hasbro Family Game Night. It seems fun. It
Yeah,
seems like they're using the Wii technology the way that it was meant to be used in a way.
yeah.
And to the best of their abilities for that time.
Do I think implementing Jenga into this game was the right choice?
Yes
Probably
and no.
not.
I mean, all of these I would rather play physically, to be honest.
Well, yeah, for sure. But then again, I mean, you're looking at. I mean, if we're going to talk about availability and stuff, $45 for a physical version from Amazon, I saw right now. But I did see
Yeah,
just $8 for a disc on eBay and $35 for factory sealed.
sure.
Now, compare that to what each one of these would cost. You know, that's a
Oh,
healthy savings.
totally.
So,
Yeah.
um,
Also, a smaller package, like you're bringing the Wii to the cabin, to play at night with your family. That's a lot smaller of a package than 5 game boxes, especially
Right.
a box of Jenga.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I don't know. Family game night seems okay.
Yeah, and it's so it's one of those games that maybe doesn't have the most stellar reception, but is
Right,
very popular.
right,
So MobiScore had a 45 by Play.tm. That was the only score submitted.
sure.
Metacritic sits. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I saw an IGN review that gave it like a 7.5 or something, or a 7.
Oh, okay. So that's
So
actually pretty high compared to everything else that I've seen then, because I
yep.
see Metacritic at a 63 with a user score of 6.3. So those two are on point. And then there's nothing on OpenCritic. But as of February 10th, 2010, so obviously
Mhm.
a decade ago,
Yes.
um, Hasbro Family Game Night, the franchise was so both 1 and 2 had sold over 1 million copies. So,
Huh.
I mean, that I'm sure Hasbro was happy with that.
Oh,
Uh,
totally. And I'm sure this wasn't a very expensive project.
yeah,
It's like
right.
bust out a game collection. Here's your basis for all of it. It should be pretty easy. Jenga might be a bit of a trouble. Go wild on Operation.
Yeah.
Why not?
So, yeah, I mean, there's really not too much else to talk about.
Yeah, I would say otherwise. Bright Light Productions. They worked on a lot of Harry Potter stuff.
Okay.
Um,
They're not around anymore, right?
they are not around anymore. That's correct. There is like a EA UK publishing arm that it might have gotten wrapped into eventually, but yeah, they were originally going to start reviving IP from Bullfrog, but they were closed before that happened. So
Okay.
it says before the company's closure, it is known that they were developing a Maxis related title. What that is, I'm not sure.
Interesting.
Hmm. But yeah, they did like Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, Part 2. Um, geez, they did a bunch. Chamber of Secrets, Quidditch World Cup. I played the hell out of that.
Oof.
Prisoner of Azkaban, Goblet of Fire. Oh, so they just did like all of them.
They just did Harry Potter. I
They
mean,
did
that's
all of them.
their
That's
golden
it.
goose until it wasn't, I guess.
Right.
Uh,
But they also did a bunch of board game stuff. So previous to I guess previous to the original game night, they did Monopoly. Then they did Game Night, Trivial Pursuit, and then they started going into the family game nights. So 2, 3, and I think that's about it for like interesting stuff that they worked on. The PSP version of Need for Speed Shift.
okay. All right.
Sure. The Orange Box for PS3.
Oh, okay.
I guess that's a little bit higher profile.
Yeah, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. They also did Catwoman. You know that
And then there's Catwoman.
that that hot title, Burnout Dominator.
I was about to say the favor you gained from the orange box you lost with Catwoman.
Yeah, right. Like Catwoman was 3 years behind, so that's fine. Yeah, it seems like it was a team that worked on a variety of things with varied results. I know some people who were really into the Harry Potter series of games. I know they kind of got into like third person shooter range near the end.
The Harry Potter games that they did work on, were they Wii exclusive or were they multi-platform?
No, these were multi-platform. So this is yeah. So yeah, all of them were GameCube, PS2, Xbox, Windows, DS, PS3, 360, Wii. Yeah, they did all of those apparently.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, very cool. That's
Yep.
sad to see them gone. I mean, it's sad to see any developer,
Yeah.
but it seemed like they
Yeah.
kind of found their niche. It's too bad they're not around anymore.
Right.
They could be making Fantastic Beasts games.
It says most employees from Brightlight joined Criterion and
Oh,
Playfish. So
okay.
they're in a good place.
Yeah. They're fine. That's still good news then.
Yes.
Great. Should we move into game number 5?
Let's do it.
Bring it home. Our very first community selected video game.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my grip shift for the week. This is a game again. I think I had the wrong game in mind because I even when it was announced. Well, first off, here were the 5 options for the community vote: Super Daryl Deluxe, Ribbit King, Family Games Pen and Paper Edition, Lily, and Brainbender. So Super Daryl Deluxe was the one that was chosen. When I heard the name of this game, I for some reason thought of, is it Action Hank?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know why. They're very different names.
I thought that too, actually.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
So I was under the impression that, oh, cool, I have this on PS Plus. It'll be great. I'll give it a shot. This is not a PS Plus game. Which was a bummer because I want to play it. But it is developed by Dan and Gary Games, published by Dan and Gary Games. It is a self-described RPG-vania, and it was released in 2018 on the Nintendo Switch, the PS4, and the PC. We have the PS4 version.
Yes. I did play it on PC.
You did? Okay.
Yes. Yep.
I have not played it. I watched a little bit of gameplay, and I was actually not wanting to watch anymore because I think this is a game that I will be adding to my streaming list to play at some point.
Yeah.
So, goes back to that conversation we had about I play everything, but do I really? But then this game comes along. This game, and Grip Shift. Is it last week? Those games come along, and suddenly I'm
You're like,
I'm
in. Add it to the list.
I want to play this. I want to stream this. So, Super Daryl Deluxe is an RPG venue with a brawler-style combat set inside a perfectly normal, sprawling, multi-dimensional high school. Like any other perfectly normal school, its students and faculty are going missing, and the classrooms have been locked down for weeks. Yes, there's nothing remarkable happening at WFHS whatsoever. Just ask the new principal. So that is kind of the back of the box. I mean, there's more to it than that, but I don't want to read the whole thing because it's actually a very large back of the box. John, you played it.
I did.
Why don't you offer up either your thoughts on playing it or anything you might have?
Yeah. So I will say the thing that caught my eye initially with this game was the art. And Dan and Gary are the real names of the developers of this game. They list themselves on their website as artist programmers, which goes a long way. Like the art in this game is awesome.
It is cool.
So it's all like hand drawn. It looks like either like a web comic or like something you'd see on like a newspaper comic strip. Lots of great detail. Lots of varied inspirations. Like you start the game and it's kind of like set in a noir, like a noir world. Like you're playing as Daryl, and someone's like calling you Detective Daryl. You're with your friend. They call him like Detective Adam or whatever. But then you're fighting all these dudes in like trench coats, and one of your other friends is like a giant head with tentacles in a big jar that's throwing like textbooks at you while you're fighting a bunch of dudes. Just some really wild stuff. Your combat is all done with skills that you map to your face buttons and like your left and right triggers. The weird thing about the skills is that they're all on cooldowns. It's like each one has a different cooldown rate, and you don't have a normal attack. It's like everything is through your skills. So as you're fighting, you'll run into times where like everything's on cooldown. You don't have anything to do, which is a little bit awkward. But I think as you get more skills, there's like 46 or 49 skills in the game, and all of them are upgradable, I think, or at least a lot of them are. You'll be able to find out like what works for you and what doesn't. Skills could be anything from like the 4 that they give you initially are you could throw boomerangs that are bananas. So you're throwing banana boomerangs. You have a fire kick.
Okay.
You have a you have one that looks like you just turn into like a ball of like Taz dust, like you're pulling something into like a cloud of dust with you and like attacking it.
Oh, okay.
Like
The
almost
old,
like
like, fighting, the Looney Tunes fighting sequence?
right, like if you have like three cats fighting each other in like a Looney Tunes cartoon, like it's
Okay.
like it looks like a cloud of dust or something, and you attack people through that. And then you have like a slide where you can damage people through the slide.
So knowing there's no normal attacks, would
Yep.
you liken the combat, again, knowing that it's all cooldown skill based,
Yep.
similar to maybe like a Dragon's Crown?
Is
Um,
everything on cooldown in that?
well,
I
no,
haven't.
it's not. But I'm just thinking that like the 2D combat, it's kind of
So everything's on a very 2D plane. Like you don't have any three dimensionality to it
okay. It's
besides
just straight across. There's no up or down.
right.
Okay, got it.
So like some of the combat kind of feels a little bit uh inconsistent.
Okay.
Which I think is just a factor of it being super early and you don't have lots to play around with. That's also like before they snap you back to reality and you're not actually a detective trying to find the damsel in distress, talking to your friend's ghost after he was shot. But that's where it starts you out. And then they kind of like introduce the school and like have you wander around the school for a while and like learn skills. Everyone's talking about playing dwarves and druids, which is like their D&D facsimile. And that's how they kind of give you the tutorials for the game. Like everyone who's like a tabletop RPG nerd in the school is like, have you ever heard of skills? If you go to your locker, you can switch your skills out and you can like upgrade stuff. Some horny lady is like trying to teach you your skill stuff, and she's always commenting about how like big and strong you look. When Daryl is like just the dorkiest looking guy. He looks like if you gave Napoleon Dynamite a mullet and like stretched him out real thin. Daryl's a real weird looking character. Yeah, there's a lot of like walking around the school, talking to people, getting quests and fulfilling those objectives. There is a little bit of like I didn't see the Metroidvania stuff that much, or at least the Vania part in the RPG Vania.
Okay.
Like you go outside the school and then people are commenting like, oh, it's weird that every like the ground is floating out here because there's like floating platforms that you can like jump on and platform to then I think fight something up in the sky. It starts going into like really weird territory. I didn't really get to the point where it's like in a dungeon or some fantasy land. All I really saw was like the weird noir worlds with the dude with a giant head floating in a tank.
The thing that I kept, so I didn't watch a lot of videos, but I did try to get as many like not reviews but just opinions as I could. So I went to Steam.
Yeah.
Just I read like 3 or 4 opinions and or like not you know, people that had accounted on like this is what my experience is. And the thing that I read over and over again was this game is dumb as hell and I love it.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
It instilled that kind of reaction from people, and I could see from screenshots that I've seen, and I'll share some of them in the Discord. This game looks like the most random trip as you move on. Just some of the most bonkers off the wall stuff that you'll see. I mean, it even credits itself as being one of the weirdest RPGs you'll ever play.
Yeah. I will say I think it leans heavily on its art and its
Yeah,
writing. Um, there's some things in the way that like the platforming works. It feels a little bit off, which kind of sucks for a Vania of some sort.
yeah.
And like I said, the slight issue I have with the skills, which could be resolved with me just like finding more skills to like fill in those gaps
Mhm.
that I was missing. I feel like I would need a little bit more fluidity to the combat, but like I'm very much used to things like Symphony of the Night or
Right.
Bloodstained for Metroidvania, like uh, hand to hand combat.
Well, and it says that there are over 40 skills available for you to buy and upgrade. So
Right.
I would assume that, yeah, over time, those gaps get filled in a little bit. The other bullet points, meet hundreds of characters and explore a sumptuous open world featuring scads of maps. I don't know. I've never heard
Scads.
scads thrown out in such a
Scads.
way.
I like it.
Immerse yourself in over 15 hours of story that focus on humor and minimal plot holes. Discover hidden areas, secrets, and rare items instead of completing that story. Level up and don fancy equipment to get the most of your high school experience. Stay busy with a tasteful amount of quests that you can complete for all sorts of random strangers. Distract yourself from other better games with our beautiful art and toe-tapping good original soundtrack. So they're very
I like
self-aware
these
of the
guys.
humor that they're
Yeah.
bringing to it too, and it shows on the back of the box, and I'm sure it shows in the game.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of, again, it's the kind of humor that I'm into. That's super weird art. Some of the screenshots where I'm just like, I saw a screenshot of Daryl riding a shark in a desert, taking out what I think were enemies that were cactuses that were
Yeah.
flexing.
Uh-huh.
Like just the whole concept of what was happening. I was just like, I'm into this.
Like the art it takes it a long way. It's the art's very good. And also I like the way it animates. There's a lot of games that will have an art style like this and for some reason like doesn't animate well. Uh this so the when I was playing this, the art in this is what I would have wanted from something like a do you remember Drawn to Death? The David Jaffe
Oh god,
uh
I do.
like really edgy scrawling in my notebook. Here's uh here's a penis. Here's a gun. Here's a sword. Here's
Yeah,
the cool ass.
I don't think I've ever downloaded
I'm
and
trying to
then
keep this clean
uninstalled.
for the
I don't think I've ever downloaded and uninstalled a game as quickly as I did
uh
Drawn to Death.
yeah, so that game and it's like just real dumb edginess. Like I feel like this, which looks like it would have a bunch of characters from something that a teenage kid would have scrawled out in a high school notebook. Um, this is the kind of art that I find to be more appealing, and like the tone that they're taking is a lot more appealing than something like a Drawn to Death. But I get uh, a similar vibe of these are things that some kid would have drawn and laughed at.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, the art, the pictures that I saw, the gameplay, it's I'm all in. One of the things that
Yes.
they added, so the game came out in 2017. In January of 2019, they actually added co-op to the game.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
that sounds pretty awesome. It sounds like the
Which
kind of thing that would be a lot of fun, like couch co-op.
which is they did some smart stuff with it too. They
Is it
did
couch
they
co-op? I guess I should ask.
was that
Is it couch co-op? Can you
it
play
is only couch co-op. So
only couch? Okay, perfect.
well so they suggested on their website to do uh what is it called? Is it Parscale?
Oh, Parsec?
A Parsec, yeah,
Yeah.
Parsec. They're like if you want to do online, you can do Parsec. You can only do it through PC. But the two-player version of this, only one character can like interact with NPCs or like switch what room that you're in. But you could trade that off by like hitting each other, and whoever has I think they call it like the mullet crown can interact with people. Daryl has a huge mullet, by the way. Daryl has a mullet and a very weak mustache.
It was funny. The co-op description was like, now you can play as Daryl or his friend, Daryl. I was like, that's
Yeah.
what I'm looking for in the game.
That's some great humor.
Yeah.
This was their first game, though, I believe.
It was, yeah. And it's actually, it was a strong showing too, because it's won some awards. It was the winner of the 2015 Taco Bell Indie Game Garage.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, it won first place in the Microsoft Imagine Cup for the games category in 2015. And it was the winner of Best Visual Quality at the Intel University Games Showcase in 2015.
Yeah, I can see that.
So yeah, they came out swinging.
They have another game on the horizon. Their website says coming soonish, maybe. Is Caveman Restaurant Tycoon, which sounds awesome. I'm in.
That's that sounds like something that would follow up Super Daryl Deluxe.
Dan and Gary, we are definitely in for whatever you do next.
Yeah. Do you have anything else before we get into development?
No, not really.
Okay. So Dan and Gary games were started by Gary Porter and Dan Plate in college. And yes, as we covered multiple times, this is their first game. And it's the first game for almost everyone involved. Dan, Adriel Jeanette, and John Paul Mardelli. It's not a big team. I think I only saw credits for 5 or 6 people.
Very small. Yep.
Well, that's not true. There were play testers and things like that as well. I shouldn't discredit them.
Sure.
But those three had Adriel Jeanette was in charge of, I think, music and sound. John Paul Mardelli, I'm not remembering what role he played, but Gary Porter, while this was his first game as a director, he had worked on The 13th Doll, a fan game of The Seventh Guest. It started as a fan game, but actually became officially licensed. So, and then Miles Flanagan, who's the sound designer, he actually did some work on Fortnite.
Oh, nice.
So little known game, Fortnite.
that little indie game.
So
never heard of it.
But other than that, like the credits stop at Super Daryl Deluxe. So that's this is a budding studio.
Well, it looks like the funding was done by the Rochester Institute of Technology Venture Fund. So that's the school that they went to. So it looks like they were helped out a bit.
And that's that's awesome.
That's great. I'd love to see it.
But that's kind of all I have in terms of kind of developer updates. There's not a lot to talk about regarding other games because they don't have any yet.
Mm-hmm.
So available right now on Steam for $19.99. It was as low as $4 for a very short time between February 1st and February 3rd of this year. So it may occasionally go on sale, but it's also $19.99 on PlayStation 4. And right now there's a sale on Switch for $9.99, but it didn't say how long that would last. So
hopefully a little bit longer than us getting this episode up.
I did check that today, so it's not like I did the research on this a week ago.
Today, Tuesday, December 1st, 2020.
Yes, this day. So if you're interested, head on over to the eShop and see if you can still get it for 50% off.
Check out that Daryl.
So yeah. Critical reception, Moby score, we got 2 scores of an 80 on Metacritic. One of them from Way Too Many Games and the other from Nintendo Life. It's currently sitting at a 72 on Metacritic, and on OpenCritic, it's got a fair rating with a top critic average of 73 and 53% of critics recommending the game, which is a little low compared to some other stuff, but obviously they didn't appreciate the art.
Right.
And that's our final game of the show.
It is.
Let's rank them.
Rank it.
Who started last week? I forgot.
I think I started last week.
You started?
Actually,
yeah. I'll start this week.
What's your number 5?
What is my number 5? Boy, this is a tough one because one of them. Oh boy. My number 5 is. Oh jeez. My number 5 is Twilight 2000.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Not my kind of game, and its age is super apparent.
Yeah.
I'm not super familiar with the source material, and I did give it, I gave it some time to
You've
try
never heard of Poland?
to. I
I'm
meant
kidding.
the board game.
I know.
uh, so yeah, I just think it's one of the games on the list that I did get a chance to play on the software library, which this
Yeah.
is one of the few times where I think it's actually a pretty fair representation for how the game plays, as opposed to
Yeah.
when you tried to play Tongue of the Fat Man, and that was impossible.
Yeah, that was rough. This was specifically a get a mouse, click around.
Yeah. So
This is an RPG.
Yeah, I think I actually got a pretty good look at how it works, and I don't think I want to play it. So that's my
Sure.
number 5.
Yeah. My number 5 is Twilight 2000. Mainly because of the age. I feel like it would just be. I've tried to go to play like Fallout or an XCOM, and anything from like 95 or before just can't really do it. I'm interested in seeing what this is as an RPG, and I'm interested in seeing what this is as a modern RPG. Once that new tabletop stuff comes out, not so much with the game though.
Okay,
So,
no, that checks out.
yeah. What's your numero 4?
My number 4 is Hasbro Family Game Night 2.
Sure.
Yeah, that one.
What's wrong with it?
I don't want those games are. I love Operation.
Yeah.
Jenga's it's a fun thing when it's giant pieces in a bar.
Yeah.
Bop It. Fine. Connect 4x4. I didn't even know what that was. And Picturica, once I got an idea of what that was, I was like, it might be fine for a second. But
yeah, it's not the strongest lineup.
Yeah, again, you said Battleship, you said Life. I would replace any of those games.
I would play Life.
Yeah,
I'd play Life all day.
None of these games are going to do anything for me, and they're especially not going to do anything for me if I have to play them with a Wiimote.
Yep.
So
that's also my number 4 for the pretty much the same reasons. Bop It doesn't seem fun with that. Connect 4 would be okay, because you don't have to deal with all the pieces.
Right. Yeah.
And I think Picturica might be an okay party game with the Wii Remote. It depends on if it works right. like that video that you watched.
It depends on if it tells you to find 5 furniture and there's only 1 furniture in the whole damn place.
Yeah. Yeah. Number 3, Sir Chris.
Number 3 for me, this I think we're going to go with
I don't like it already.
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm doing
like
my
it.
best. I think we're going to go with Summon Night 5.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Knew it.
The idea that half of that game is a visual novel is a turnoff, but I'll be honest, like it does gain
half of all RPGs is a visual novel.
But I mean, you're actually not there. I mean, you could even argue that Hades kind of has some visual novel aspects where it's just
absolutely 100%. But no, I get what you mean.
Yeah,
there's a difference between storytelling with characters and a visual novel.
I found myself when I was going through and researching it, I became more than curious. Like I was like, this might be something that I could get into. Again, I haven't gotten into a turn-based RPG or a strategy tactical RPG. Sorry, in a really long time. But this one looked a little bit more up my alley. Like you said, the Disgaea gets super crazy with its numbers and all that.
Let's get really into a Disgaea. Let's do it. Or just get back into tactics. Final Fantasy Tactics.
I don't know. This is why it's number 3 for me. I don't think I'll ever commit to it. But I was intrigued by it, and I'm more interested by it now than I would have been prior to the show.
Sure.
What's your 3?
This is tough because this could just like rearrange the rest of my list.
Oof.
Um,
A lot riding on this.
Yeah. Gosh, I think it's Super Daryl Deluxe is number 3. I have played some of it. I do want to try some more. But that combat kind of tripped me up a bit.
Okay.
Left a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth, but I do see the promise there. But right now, my brain is fiending a little bit more for a tactical RPG
Oh, okay.
than a RPG Vania. So, what is your number 2?
My number 2, and this was I'm flipping back and forth here. Whoops. My number 2 is going to be.
So, I guess just to line this up, this is one game you haven't played and one game that you've played through.
Yeah, and I think.
How does that color your decision? Do you go with the game that you played and you know that you like, or do you go with the game that looks really interesting to you that you haven't played yet that you are looking forward to playing?
Yeah, I think. Well, there's an interesting twist on that. So my number 2 is going to be Stories Untold.
All right.
And I enjoyed my time with Stories Untold, but I don't have any interest in playing it again.
Sure.
Playing
it's a puzzle
it, though,
game. Like,
yeah, playing
you know
it,
the
though,
answers. Yeah.
moved it up my list.
Oh, good.
Like I said, I tried playing this back when it released on Epic, and I was just like, no, I can't possibly do this. I didn't even think about using a guide at the time, but having played it, I think the story is strong enough to carry it through that people should experience it. And I'm glad that I experienced it, but it only goes so far as that, 2.5 hours, which, and I'm not holding the length of the gameplay against it in any way. I don't think that that's a fair thing to do for any game, because I did truly enjoy my time with it. I don't think it overstayed its welcome. I don't think it should have been any longer.
I don't think that game should be longer than 2.5 hours. Like, if it was like 5 hours, I'd be like, no, don't want to touch it.
But aesthetically, I think it was super pleasing. I loved the way it was presented, the atmosphere, and all of that stuff. But when it comes down to it, I didn't play it the right way. I had to use a guide.
Sure. Yep.
And that's a tough thing for me to say that it's my favorite game of the week if I didn't. In my experience, I literally played it the wrong way just to see what it had to offer. So
sure.
I still really enjoyed it. Enjoyed it way more than I did than I thought I was going to. Even with a guide, because I really didn't know what it was about. But that's my that's my number 2.
Cool. My number 2 is going to be probably Summon Night 5. Like I said, I do have a little bit of an itch for a tactical JRPG. I think that the characters look real nice. I think the combat looks pretty nice as well. There's some cool attack animations in there. I do not mind sitting and having things, or I guess I would have to read it because it's not in English, but I don't mind sitting through some dialogue for a while. And if there's any, I don't know if there's any like dialogue trees or anything in there, but I think the actual tactical nature of it would push me through quite a bit. So,
okay.
Summon Night 5, I'm also kind of interested, like, now that series has been going on for so long, what the other ones are like, and what the earlier versions are like. So, not just Summon Night 5 for number 2, but the whole Summon Night, the whole series.
Okay.
And then that would whittle down your number 1 to what?
Well, actually, I want to circle back quick. I mean, it's Super Deluxe, but Summon Night 5, what I'm looking forward to, I'm looking forward to the day where we have a video version of this where we play the games. Because I wish that we were in a position where I was forced to play that.
Oh, totally.
I think maybe I'd like it more than I'm giving it credit for.
Sure.
But I'm just not going to do that right now.
If someone throws down $100 in uh in our Patreon, one person has to do it. I will buy that game for Chris and I will make him play it. I have the channel points to do it.
Oh yes, you do. You have a lot of channel
I
points.
have over 100k channel points in his Twitch channel, and there are ways to make me guide what game that he plays. So
There are ways. That's how I set the channel up. So there you go. There's your call to action.
that's it.
But
So
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say. So you were saying that number one is for you is Super Daryl Deluxe.
Yeah, number one for me is Super Daryl Deluxe. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and stamp it and say that it is going to, as soon as we're wrapped up here, it is going to make its way onto my streaming list.
On the list.
Yep, it will make it there. Now, my list is completely randomized in the way I stream things, though, so it could be the next game,
there eventually.
It may not happen for years, but it will have a place on the list as something that I'd like to try at some point. I think the art looks outstanding.
If you hang out in Chris's channel enough, you can make him play it.
That's true. That's true. You can unrandomize the list and choose my next game. So There you go. There's another call to action. You guys are going to be busy, and one of you is going to be $100 poor. But yeah, the art for this game looks outstanding. It is weird. It sounds just absolutely bonkers, and I mean, it's going to be a random game that comes up over time, but I hope it comes up sooner rather than later.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're
good. My number one is Stories Untold.
Oh, very cool.
I really like the aesthetic of it. I like that they purposely use old technology to confuse and frustrate you, in a way that's not, in a way that's meant to not be cutesy nostalgia for like a VCR. I'm interested to do the text adventure because I've never really done text adventures before.
Okay.
And I feel like that's a gap that's missing in my gaming history, but also this is a modern text adventure, so they probably have some design sensibilities to combat the usual bullcrap of text adventures.
So are you planning on playing it then?
I have it installed.
Oh, okay.
I also have it from Epic.
Okay, perfect. Are you going to play it on Switch?
I don't think I'll play it on Switch. No,
you're going to play it. Okay.
Yeah, I've got it on PC. I'll probably play it there. Have some headphones on. Have that nice looking computer within my computer.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's cool. I'm eager to see what you think. Are you gonna try to make it through without a guide?
Probably.
Bless your heart. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Why not?
Man's man.
Why not? If I don't, then I'm just gonna stop playing it.
Oh, no! Don't do that. Don't do that. The story's really good.
I'm gonna delete it, and I'm gonna banish it from existence.
No, don't do what old Chris did. Find a way to enjoy the story, because the story is worth seeing through to the end.
I'll just watch them and play.
Oh, that's true too. Well, there you have it. There's episode 5 in the books. Do you think your list changed at all from where it was prior to not list, your rank order? Do you think that changed prior to your research?
Yeah, I think so. I actually thought Summon Night would probably be number 1.
Oh, okay.
To be honest, because it's like, like tactical JRPG. That's something I would like. But it's Super Daryl Deluxe was either going to be really high up or is going to be real low. Just based on how it looked.
And it ended up smack dab in the middle.
Right in the middle, which is also I consider the upper half of my list.
Okay.
Because yeah,
that works.
I like what I saw of Super Daryl Deluxe. So
yeah,
Stories Untold. I had always heard good things, but it always seemed like a smaller game. I don't know. And then Twilight 2000. I had no idea what the hell that was.
Yeah,
to begin with. So Yeah.
In terms of my list, I'm glad that I forced myself to play Stories Untold, or like reinstall it and stuff.
Right.
And then I'm glad that I did the guide thing, because Stories Untold would have probably been 4 on my list.
Oh, sure.
It would have still been ahead of probably Twilight 2000, based on a little bit that I got to play with that. But Stories Untold was not something that I was going to have any interest in outside of researching it.
Sure.
So it's cool that it moved up.
Yeah, that's great.
Super Daryl Deluxe, I didn't know anything about really going in, so I didn't really have a spot for it.
Yes.
Hasbro Family Game Night might have started higher on my list, but actually seeing gameplay of it, I just kind of like, ugh.
It fluctuated a lot for me. It's like,
Yeah.
I wasn't too interested, and then I saw like, oh yeah, like virtual versions of board games. That's good. Like, and then saw some implementations. Like, well, see better. Like, I would rather play a Jackbox, like something that's
Oh yeah,
designed for the Vidya games.
right.
But I guess first I'd like to thank all these people who made these games.
Yes,
Um,
I don't know if you
and then
did that
I think next we should thank our patrons
enough.
who help make this show possible and help continue to make it even better.
That is true, and it is a new month, so I have a reminder to check on said patrons. But let's see
Are
here.
they doing all right?
I think
Are they
they're
okay? Are they fine with their own devices?
okay. The list has not changed much. We have Jody and Mecca at the platinum tier. Thank you so much. X-Chin at the gold tier. Thank you so much. The Lone Wolf and Tori Glumac at silver. Thank you so much. Aussie Gamer, John Carson, Jason Daphnis at the bronze. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
me.
yes. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
um,
Thanks everyone.
yeah, so we if you guys want to chime in with any corrections, anything you want to add to what we discussed, any opinions you have on any of these games, if
Yeah.
you played them, please do. We have an email, pgshowinbox@gmail.com. We have a Twitter, pg_show. You can find us at our Patreon, patreon.com/procedurally generated. If you wander to our Patreon, consider becoming a patron. I
Drop
think
$100. Make him pay.
uh,
Make
there you
Chris
go.
play Summon Night 5.
You can literally change my life.
That's
But
deep.
yeah, it's we have some tiers set up. We have some goals set up.
Yep.
Take a look at the tiers. If you think that there's something that might influence you to pull the trigger, let us know. We're happy to discuss and kind of move that stuff around if we think it's warranted. So
Yeah.
be happy to.
Also, oh,
I was just gonna say, I'd be happy to have that kind of conversation. We're not. We're still pretty new at Patreon, and the
yeah.
best way to set it up. So we're open to that kind of feedback. Sorry,
Yeah.
what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was going to say, also, if you're a new listener, feel free to listen to the 4 previous episodes. If you want to listen to a really dumb explanation of my preference in the genre of games that are similar to the game Rogue, listen to last week's episode.
You could do that if you wanted to.
You could do that. Also, I think this might be our longest episode yet, Chris.
Well, we got to cut out some times for breaks and all that stuff.
Yeah, just a little bit. We'll
That's a
see.
good one.
Anyways, I'm not sad that it's going this long. I'm just mentioning it. Anything else? You can find Chris on Twitch at twitch.tv/CW719.
Yes, sir.
You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/John Carson Games.
Yes, sir.
If you go to our Twitter page, there's a link to our Discord on our Twitter bio. Please join us there. That's where we'll have some additional information, pictures, videos of the games that we cover each week. Go there, join us, talk with us, have fun. Chris has a great ongoing song of the day. I don't know if he's done it recently, but I'm going to promote it anyways. Don't worry about it. This will spur him to keep it going, or listen to the 70 days that he did do before.
That's right. We're coming up on 80 days strong.
There you go. But yeah, I think that's all of the places that we are, right?
Yeah. The Discord is a big one, like you said. That should actually enhance your experience with the podcast. I firmly believe that it does kind of help build out the experience.
And if there's ways that you think that we could enhance it more, let us know.
Yes, absolutely. Please. And then my final ask is, if you enjoyed the show, please leave us a 5-star review. We would love to get back up on Podcharts' rankings, try to get to the top 200 in video games.
I want a chart.
That's right. We want to place.
Put me in those single digits. Number 8.
We made it as high as 75 one week, and I was like, holy smokes.
Wow.
And then we went to 180, and then we haven't been on the chart since. So
is no one listening to gaming podcasts?
I don't know. I don't know what happened that specific day, but
it's been like week 3.
But I think that we're finding a good rhythm with this. I think we're doing pretty good. But we definitely want to keep getting better. So we're looking forward to you guys to help us do just that. So I don't have too much else. How about you?
Nope, that's it.
All right. You guys have a fantastic week, and we will talk to you soon.
Love you. Bye.